I start. Yeah, he's not. He's not on yet. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's in chat saying, Where's everyone at? It's 7:30. What, Paul? I'm here. Can't you? Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Here, I'm sending you the invite. Just wait a second. Copy. And go over here to the Facebook. Here's the link for you and Nathan. So join, Paul. Join. The rebellion? No. I sent you the link. Where you at? Where you at, Paul? Where you at? My glasses say Godzilla 2021, but I'm very confused because there isn't a Godzilla 2021 movie. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you can come say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm echoing, by the way.
Little Miss is going to come say hi.
By the way.
Oh, yeah. You shouldn't be echoing now.
All right.
Glasses. Okay, you can say hi to Paul.
I'm wearing glasses too.
Come on. Sometime today, please. Really, girl.
There she is. Hello.
She says hi. Oh, you
Nice.
There you go.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Hi. Does somebody have a birthday coming up soon in a couple of weeks?
I do.
Oh, guess who else does?
You.
Me. Yes, we both have birthdays coming up. Woohoo!
When's your birthday?
All right. Hey, Bobo.
Let me think. What if I tell you it's the 5th of April?
Oh my gosh, child.
It sounds like I'm not loud, but I actually am.
You are, yes.
Yeah,
playing
and you have
loud.
cool glasses like your dad. Oh,
Matching set. Right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I didn't realize we were live. Sorry.
Jeez. Why don't you just give my social security number out while you at, Paul?
Yeah.
Bobo King Kong visits Godzilla. Yeah, something like that. They're visiting. And the Illuminati, pauljpires.com. How are you doing tonight, Bobo? Hopefully quite well. Let's see.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep, that about does it.
One time I'm not ready when you call me in.
That's okay. Okay, real quick.
You can't keep it.
I probably will since it's the weekend.
Well, he had to go step away, but I'll tell him when he comes back. Bo says, I have food and ginger ale and working internet, so I'm good. That's pretty impressive. What kind of food do you have, Bobo? How are you this fine evening? Doing fairly well. Thank you for asking. I got Godzilla glasses, apparently, so that's cool. Though, again, I don't know why it's Godzilla 2021. There's no Godzilla 2021 movie that I know of. I mean, there's, of course, King Kong versus Godzilla, but it should say that. But whatever.
It's a big monster like Godzilla.
Oh, let's see. Leftover fish, rice, and some sweet and sour chicken. Ooh, that's yummy. I had today for lunch, I had leftovers that are very similar. It was rice, broccoli, and it's called firecracker, like turkey meat. It's like ground turkey with like a firecracker sauce you make. I don't make it. You're supposed to use, I think it's Frank's red sauce, red spice, whatever sauce it is. That's like a spicy sauce, but I just replaced that for ketchup because my kids don't like the spice. And though, come to think of it, they don't really eat it that much. So maybe I should just add the spice for me.
You don't need to comment.
Anyway, so that's what I had. And you just make that. You cook it with the turkey, and you're golden or red because it's more red than gold. But that's what I had. I enjoyed it. And Paul's still coming out. Come here. He's getting ready in his cool new man cave thing.
All right, let's see.
Hopefully his computer survives tonight.
Yes.
We'll see.
Goes there.
Still waiting for Nathan. Let's see, did he reply in here? No, nothing from Nathan.
And this.
Hopefully he's going to be joining soon.
I know you can hear
Hey,
me,
Cleva.
I can't hear you.
Walks into chat slowly and quietly. Walks. Well, yeah, that's. Are you talking about you are or Paul did? 'Cause it's kind of, maybe both. Maybe both. What? Are you
Yeah,
afraid of my
maybe both.
glasses?
Yeah. Who isn't?
I don't know. Now it's interesting, Paul. Did you lower your settings or anything? Because to me, you seem very like a low quality video, which is fine if that's better for audio.
Low quality video or audio?
Video.
I haven't touched video.
Okay,
But
let's not
maybe
worry
that's
about
my video card acting up.
it. Oh, maybe. Are you still going to be able to record your audio?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
Like
Crossing the fingers.
I've had a couple of snafus, so
All right, we'll see what happens. I'm sure.
know which one
You know what?
you bring
If
up
it's gonna
Paul,
die, it's gonna die right as we start. So,
right.
and I mean, we have this recording. We have my jar, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. Oh,
Hey,
can
guess what
you-
happens in 1 minute?
It's 7:38.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to let me in. Let me in.
Oh, all right, right. Like,
All right, can I what?
I was gonna test if you could hear the soundboard. Just a second. Let's see. D-Tunks, hey D-Tunks, it's just Paul, not his settings.
Yeah, I'm kind of low. I'm not as
Oh yeah. Paul is just a low res. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
you
not
see him
feeling
on the
high res
street. He's
today.
very.
I'm not all there, if you know what I
Yes,
mean.
exactly. He's 480. He's 480p, but it's it's no 4K. Can you hear this?
No.
I can't even hear it, so that doesn't help.
Yay. And now I can.
Now you can. Okay, cool.
Hi.
that's ready.
How are you?
How's my audio?
Oh yeah, checklist. Maybe I should do that while we're waiting here.
I'm very happy to be here.
Tell me you, Paul, not Arnold.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want me to tell me about my day or something like that?
Yes, please.
It's been a long week. I'm kind of tired. I'm hoping that it all goes
I
well
feel you,
okay
Paul.
tonight.
I
Yeah.
feel you.
I'm not trying to complain because I know a lot of people have it a lot worse, but you know, I'm
Complain away.
pretty
Good.
Yeah, good.
All audio is good. Thank you, Bobo, for confirming that. Let's see. You got the mind mode.
Wordy
Thank
P,
you.
just like me.
Do you have a spiritual speculation, Paul?
I do not.
I was trying to rack my brain for one. The only thing I could come up with is like, and I don't remember if we covered this in Gojira, but like, would God ever make like monsters like this, or why aren't there monsters like this that God
Maybe
made?
they are and they're just buried in the ground.
I mean, under ice, yeah, I suppose so.
No, like with the dinosaur bones, you know. Dinosaur. Maybe we covered it in Jurassic Park. I don't know.
I don't. Well, those were living things though. These never existed.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I think there are apes. I could be wrong.
No,
And I
giant
think,
apes as big as
Yeah.
buildings, Paul.
oh, come on. I mean, look to this guy right here. I mean, come on.
Don't get me started. We're not to dislikes yet.
Oh.
I feel like I'm out of the 70s or something with these on. It's
Yeah.
weird. Let's
Oh, sorry. I meant
Yeah.
By the way, guys, Edna mode is active, so you can use the exclamation point Edna mode. Paul
What's
did
that
not
supposed
do
to
it
mean?
unless it's actually Edna'd. So we have a fair tally of how many Ednas we have.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
doesn't
So
have
you're
one that
having-
says fine.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one.
Stop whining.
Chat. Do you have any
Spiritual I did hear
spiritual
that.
speculations?
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I just realized I had to put my phone to airplane mode.
What if God made Gamera and not the Japanese? Just a slob like Gojira trying to be trying.
I don't get it.
What
have
if
to be-
God what was one of us? Just a
Oh.
slob like one of us?
What if God made Gamera just a slob like Gojira, trying to find the Bagaran, trying to clean the smoke?
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
That's good to know. Do you have Schwarzenegger quote? It's oh, that's why you did it. I'm behind.
So
Yeah.
I do.
Let's see. Oath for we don't have.
That's
to do
because
that.
this is Kindergarten Cop.
That's what we're yeah. Which Bobo, good job. I mean, not you knew that, but and that was a while ago, but still, well done being a guest on Kindergarten Cop. Let's see here.
Good.
Man,
bane of my
we lost a
existence.
viewer. That was,
Clev was like, I walked in. No, I'm walking out.
yeah, I came back, so
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's why.
yeah.
Let me think of anything else we need to do. I mean, we're pretty much just waiting on Nathan.
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing.
He hasn't even seen the invite
put on
yet
my
because it's
chapstick.
not even 7:45 yet.
Well,
Oh, and I forgot to ask let me in at that particular time.
gosh, we're just like hitting it out of the park right now. It's ridiculous. Hey, Ashley, just wanted to drop in and say hello. Wish y'all a good podcast.
What?
every
You're not
Friday.
going to
Thank you, Ashley.
stay? Come on, Ashley. You got to be part of, Let's
Maybe
see if
she's
this
never
is
seen
not
this
even
movie.
showing.
Oh my gosh.
There we
you're
go.
so
Come
cool.
on. You got to support the team. Hi, Ashley.
Oh my god.
I mean, you don't have to stay for the entire, but just so I'm here
Paul's
supporting the
heckling
team. Some people have their Invisiwater. I have my Team Wompate or Gator.
Team Womp Gator.
Team Wompate.
Team Womp Pepsi. Team Womp Pepsi. Team. I don't know.
Anyway,
Wompsy? Whatever. Let's see. Baba, hopefully back on soon. Several movies I know better are coming up. Oh, nice.
Wompola.
Yes. And it says hi to Ashley. But yeah, no, don't let Paul guilt you into staying, Ashley. If you
Oh
wanna
yeah.
watch-
Please.
or if you have a D&D game or anything like that, feel free to go do
Or
that.
if you just rather be somewhere else, that's okay. I understand.
Yes, it is. I'd rather be somewhere else.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
fine.
not.
Be right
Actually,
back,
not really
okay?
at all. I'm glad to be here. Maybe a different movie without. Don't go there, Francisco. Just leave
Hey.
it alone.
Yeah.
Gamera is really neat. He is filled with turtle meat. We believe in Gamera. That's quite the jingle you got there, D Tungsten. Baba says, "I don't care for Gamera. You know why, D Tungsten? Why, Babo? Why?
I don't have a why. Oh, good night. Good night, little miss. Little miss. There she is. Oh,
a good night,
it's
Sips.
blocking my.
Jeez, Paul. Let's see. So the Battissimo is doing that, but that's not going to work. Battissimo, you should know that somehow, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Be
D-Tungsten,
programmed
I love
better.
Gamera. I like turtles. I like turtles. Ashley says, I've never seen Godzilla, a Godzilla movie. I listened vicariously through y'all. Wow, not a one. Even the newer ones. Bob says he
Yeah.
tried to kill me with a forklift. Lift. I don't get it, Bobo.
Theater 3000.
That's an MST key.
Good.
Or
Wait,
one of
what?
them is. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
I still don't. But is that an MST3K line that he tried
Yeah.
to kill me with a forklift?
I don't know. Maybe it's another line.
Yeah. Well, she claims she's the Womp Queen, Ashley. I think
Whoa.
Womp Princess is a bit more appropriate, but she's saying Womp Queen. So I don't know.
Whoa. I think Ashley may have to straighten her out a bit.
Know your place, little one.
Yeah.
D Tungsten comes from MST3K. Oh, really? It does. I didn't know that. That's cool.
I'm just
I will
wondering if
have to
all
start
this
out
boring talk
softer.
is actually going to be
Edna mode.
in there.
No, actually, I haven't started. You know, I should start the. Well, no, I wanted to wait for Nathan for us
Yeah.
all to start recording. So yeah, I haven't started
Yeah.
yet.
He's
Hey,
having a little
Kevin,
trouble.
how are you doing? Oh, did you say that? I'm not checking that.
Well, he's seen the link.
you know, darling.
He's seen the link, but he hasn't climbed in yet. Climbed?
Chimed, Celtics, whatever. Baba, maybe wampening forthcoming. Wow, why, Baba? D Tungsten, Drake Tungsten. So is that from a Godzilla movie or something, or a Gamera movie? D Tungsten. I love
Hello,
MST3K so dearly.
Kevin.
You know what? I'm usually if there's
Hi.
nothing really for me to listen to or watch, and I only have a little bit of time, and you have something funny on in the background, like I'm cooking dinner. I'll usually put on riff tracks or MST3K and Twitch and just have that on in the background.
Really? When it's like mostly jokes rather than the movie itself?
Yeah.
Okay. I
'Cause
can't unless
they're usually the bad movies. They're never any of the like popular movies.
Yeah, but if something's going on in the background, like I'm trying to do something else, I usually have to have it be something I'm familiar with. Because if it's something I don't know, then it kind of like, oh, what are they talking about?
That's a fair point.
Yeah. But lower the volume and you're okay.
Exactly. Thank you. Let's see.
Thank you.
The show helped warp my childhood. Well, as it should, Bobo. Actually, nope, not a single Godzilla movie. Not really interested in the franchise, but I enjoy how many folks enjoy it. Awesome. Yeah, you know what? I'm very hit or miss. That's what we might see tonight. I don't know. With oh, there we go. Not maximize. Why did I maximize you? Sorry.
Welcome.
Hey, Nathan. Can you hear us?
Hi. You guys have a slightly different setup this time around.
Always.
Yeah, we like to keep things fresh. Let's see. Should I do that? Then people can't see your Godzilla versus Kong
It's up
thing.
to you. Apparently, I'm not high res, so keep that in mind.
That's true.
I feel like I
we'll
need to go
do equal
grab
portions.
a pair of sunglasses now to compete with Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these aren't like digitally imposed. Or
Okay,
anything.
go
These
for
are
it.
real.
I figured as much.
Oh, man.
Kevin says maybe Nathaniel
Be right back. Okay.
should get a new
I'll be
computer.
having fun.
Well, I think it's fine.
About doing. I was thinking about grabbing a pair of sunglasses anyway, just to be all like, "We need Kong."
Nice.
I thought you're going to be with like Godzilla put on the glasses, like deal with it.
D Tungsten, it's from a Hercules episode. Oh, really? Drake Tungsten is from Hercules, like Kevin Sorbo Hercules? D Tungsten?
Or the Hercules animated series that it's not often to be found.
Oh,
on
the
Disney Plus.
What?
is that the one when they did like
that animated Hercules
Yeah,
show
where
is
he's in the
on Disney Plus?
I don't know if it's on Disney Plus.
Well,
but
I haven't
it's-
looked for it. But here's
I
the
haven't either.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I found out that no joke, there was actually
the
a
Hercules movies,
crossover episode of Hercules show with Aladdin.
Oh, I gotta
In
check that one
continuity-
out.
somewhat similar time frames.
Well,
maybe.
no, actually, they're completely different time periods. It makes no sense.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks.
But here's the thing that's nuts is that crossover is actually in continuity with the movies and the show because they reference
really?
They reference the movie because at that point there's actually a scene can't remember who it might have been Hercules. I think he tries to hit on Jasmine and she says, "I'm married." So they're
nice.
referencing the movies.
What about Meg? Isn't that the Hercules?
I don't know.
Well,
I
this
don't.
is before.
just-
This is
some-
before. It's like his during training, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember. I've only seen like one episode, and that was when it was first airing.
Can't wait to listen
so.
to that. I'm going to call it an early night. Oh, thank you, Ashley.
All right.
Let's see. Paul, will
Have
you
a good
actually
weekend.
go ahead? And
the only
pray
downside. The only downside to these sunglasses is that it's a little harder to read the chat.
Well, then
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. You know, it's really hard for me to read the chat too. So difficult.
You want me to
Paul,
pray for everybody, including Ashley?
Yeah,
or
and
just
pray. I was gonna say pray for Ashley. Pray for her and the start of the podcast, please. If you
Okay. Sure, Lord,
Okay.
thank you so much that we are able
What's going-
to all be here and that tonight goes well. And I pray that everyone who listens or watches would be blessed. And for those that can't stick around, I pray that you would encourage them and give them a wonderful night and weekend ahead of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And no technical difficulties, please.
Please, here we go.
Let's hope. I will say I've got a little bit of an echo on my end, just so you know.
I'm not hearing it.
Maybe it's just
and
my head. I'm not sure.
maybe I am experiencing. It seems like you're delayed a bit, so there's that. But hopefully, it won't be an issue since you're still able to record just yourself, right, Nathan?
I can switch to
If you can.
multi-track, just like I did before.
Okay. However you did it before, that worked. I feel like
Yeah.
there was some changing you had to do, but yeah, if
Yeah, well,
however you
that
can, so that's just you. That's fine.
shouldn't be an issue. Just give me a second here. I will make adjustments as needed.
Yeah.
Then once you do that,
What was that?
I'll start recording.
What was that? I could
Hi.
do uploads and they
How
got
are
to.
you?
I am you.
Good.
It's like the sixth day over here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What's the matter?
Nothing's the matter, Paul.
First,
It's all
I would
great.
like to just get to know you.
Funny thing, I have actually concluded at least the original Mecha
Actually.
Godzilla from the 7 is basically a Terminator. So every time I see that thing, I imagine that it sounds like Schwarzenegger.
That's pretty awesome.
Godzilla.
I would love that. If you would do like a voice dub of, or like a dub of it, that'd be amazing.
I would so do that.
Yes. Let's see. Nathan,
Godzilla
can I
starts
get
stomping on Tokyo.
I'm the party pooper.
when you're ready? I'd like to get your levels, and do you have your likes called to 2 likes in a classic maker and 2 dislikes in a tragic maker?
Yes, I do. And I thought with only 3, it was actually going to be 3. We're going back to 3. But if it's 2, I can work with that.
Top
Well,
3.
It's like top 3. So 2 likes,
Okay.
classic maker is your best thing. 2 dislikes, tragic
See,
maker.
I'm
is
not
your
the only
worst
one confused by it. Okay.
thing. Let's see. Anything else for the guest?
There
I
we
don't think so.
There we go. All right. I do now think
Oh.
I have my settings where they need to be in order to make this.
Okay. Fantastic. So, thumbs
Yeah.
up if you're ready to hit record.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Let me actually get ready to hit record.
Just hit record on my end.
I said thumbs up if you're ready, not start.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready. I can start
Okay.
recording now. Just tell me when.
Great. Now, do it.
Oh, now?
Hit record. Yes.
Okay,
now.
wow.
Do
No
it!
countdown.
Do it now.
Oh my word. Let's see.
Yeah.
So we got that. Is there a time you have to be done by, Nathan? Like you have to call it quits?
Not necessarily. I do have to
Okay.
get up a bit early in the morning because you got to remember it's creeping up to 11 o'clock for me.
Woo-hoo.
So
So you gotta
guys
go
are
right
all the
before we
way on
start.
the west coast, apparently.
Indeed, we are.
Right before we start covering Young Indiana Jones. Okay.
Oh my
No, no, I'm not quitting for that. I watched that dang thing tonight. I watched that dang thing tonight.
Good.
I took notes.
Good.
We're talking
wow.
about
You
it.
took notes? That's amazing. I never take notes for
Have
that.
you listened to my show? This is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong for taking notes. That's just I'm impressed. I'm trying to affirm you, Nathan. That's all.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm giving you a hard time because this is what I.
What?
Yes.
My
what
show,
everybody
my
does.
ship. Okay. I
Okay.
think. Oh, and
Well, okay.
Nathan,
One more
do you-
thing. One more thing before we get started. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
You know that the my because I'm using my soundboard.
Okay.
So did
Yeah,
you
I can
hear?
Jimmy?
Yes, I
Missed me?
heard.
All right.
Did
Jimmy.
Jimmy pop up on your recording wave? Make
Yes.
sure you're recording him.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
He's recording on my end, so that's not an issue.
He's
Okay.
on mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
also, if you feel like it, I could also throw in 2021 for you.
That's I don't know what 2021 is.
Well, that's the song that was used in the Godzilla versus Kong trailer.
Oh, the one I've been avoiding.
I just saw that
The
today for
first
the first
one
time.
that actually got put out. That's all it was. The first trailer
Yeah,
doesn't
well-
ruin anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does. It's
The one that came out like 5 years ago, and we've been waiting since.
when King Kong rips like Godzilla's mouth in half, it's like that spoils everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I think we're about ready then. Oh, last thing, Nathan, did you have a spiritual speculation for tonight?
About Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
No, King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Yeah, it's monkey lizard punchy punchy, not lizard monkey punchy punchy. Got it. So I can think of one probably.
Oh, good.
because neither of us have one.
Maybe something will come out of the conversation. So
Maybe.
all right.
I wouldn't be
Then
surprised,
a
honestly.
little bit more of water, and then we'll get started here.
Yeah, I've got a. So.
Awesome.
I've been doing this. I've been doing this again for a year and a half. I've learned a thing or two.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right.
Who
here
is
we
your
go, guys.
daddy and what does he do?
Thumbs up if you're
It's
ready
not
to go.
a tumor.
All right, here we go.
We have some
And-
sort of skit to lead into like, hey,
It's right there.
no, like we're just, are we like talking about like Nathan flying around in a giant robot, or all of a sudden he's just on a ship? We're just gonna go right into it.
I was just gonna go right into it. If you guys
Okay,
want to
that's
do the
fine.
skit right now,
I'll
on
just
the fly,
we can go right into it, and I'll just make up a story about flying here in a robot with Jimmy.
there you go.
Because that's what
So
I
the-
do
because-
now on my. That's what I do now on my show. I basically Jimmy is not only my producer, he is also basically my glorified Uber driver. He takes me everywhere in a giant robot that we actually call Uber Mogura. But it not occurred to me when a friend and I came up with that name that we could actually connect it
Awesome.
to the ride service. I was just Uber because it's German for super, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. What I was gonna say is, well, you could
Yeah.
mention for the backstory on how you got here. You could tune into your podcast or something like that, or check out.
Oh
your
no,
video.
trust me. I've gotten very used to just making crap up when I do these things.
All
so.
right. Fair enough. All right, guys. So here we go. In 5, 4, 3. As a human, if you are looking to change the way you treat plants and animals, learn from them even, then listen to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew, stations, scanning for King Kong vs. Godzilla, 1962. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the master interrupter Kaiju powers.
Yeah, Team Godzilla representing.
Also, for this discussion of the film King Kong versus Godzilla, we welcome back aboard professional writer, raging nerd, and host of the Monster Island Film Vault podcast, Nathan Marchand. Welcome, Nathan.
Hello, Retro Rewinder.
Hello, Nathan.
Come on. Everywhere I go, I bring a much needed Robin Williams energy. Haven't you seen Good Morning Vietnam?
I have.
Okay. What?
I have seen Good Morning Vietnam.
That's where the shtick came. And that
How
and
is
my
Vietnam related to your Kaiju island?
no,
though?
how Robin Williams does his radio show in that movie.
I understand that, but you're connecting it. You're the monster film, the Monster Island Film Vault guy, and you're quoting Robin Williams. Has Robin Williams ever been in a kaiju movie? Where's
He
the
is a
connection?
monster himself. If you ever, I mean, a monster talented. Well,
He
anyway.
does have unlimited
Monstrously
cosmic power.
talented. Yes.
Yes.
Why are we talking about Robin Williams?
Well, and then there's my master interrupter, my intrepid producer, Jimmy from NASA. Yes, you survived the infamous war in space, and you still won't tell me how. at this point, he's just content to hang out with Alice over there. So,
I
Nice.
guess we can have Timmy aboard. It's fine.
yeah,
That's Jimmy.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's
Timmy
what I
is his cousin.
Timmy.
Anyway, now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for King Kong versus Godzilla?
Sure. Just a point to make that this is not Godzilla versus King Kong, which is, supposed to be released later this year in 2021. This is King Kong versus Godzilla, the 1962 version, which came out August 11th of that year. It runs 1 hour and 31 minutes and is unrated. It was directed by, here we go with the names again.
I have to help you. Do I have to hold your hand here, Paul?
Yes. Mr. Honda. What's his first name?
Ishiro Honda.
Yes. And Tom Montgomery co-directed this, I guess, because there's a Japanese version and an American United States version.
Geez. American version.
Yeah. So it was written by the Japanese name is Shinichi
Ichi
Yes, Sekizawa.
Yes, you got it.
Yes. And then Paul Mason helped with on the American side. And with the lead stars being Tato Takashima, Kenji Sahara, and
Kenji Sahara.
Yeah, and Yu Fujiki.
Very nice.
I'm trying not to say a bad word.
Just one more.
Okay, the music was this is the Barry guy. The music was composed by Akira Ifukube, or how do you
Ifukube.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay. King Kong versus Godzilla was made for about $620,000. That means that the Japanese contributed about 220,000, and then the Americans contribute about $200,000. Sorry, scratch that.
420,000.
It was made for about 620,000. The Japanese contributed about 420,000, and the Americans submitted about $200,000 on their end.
So did you have to do all of this conversion from yen to dollars and factor for inflation and all that fun stuff?
This is not counting for inflation. It was 150 million at the time, 150 million yen at the time. And not counting inflation, it earned about $10 million at the box office worldwide.
Ooh.
So, given this,
there is.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say there's one very important number that needs to be mentioned here, and that is because usually with Japanese films, at least with Toho, they're spending. They don't necessarily bring up the actual amount of money that it earns. They count the number of tickets. This sold 11 tickets in Japan alone.
Ooh.
Nice.
That is, and I think I read that this is still the highest audience of any Godzilla movie in Japan.
This is
like that.
The most attended Godzilla film in the entire franchise.
Wow.
There you go.
A bit
All right.
bonkers.
So this was released in 1962. Let's see if we can stump our resident kaiju guru here.
Indeed.
Because precise records are hard to find before the late 1970s. So here's today's box office trivia question. How high do you think it ranks among the other movies released in 1962 in just the U.S. alone?
Oh.
Well.
It's in the top 100.
Okay,
Really?
Top 100.
It's in the,
At least
Yeah.
in the US.
top 100.
Okay.
Although your numbers was released stateside in 1963.
In 63, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
1962 for Japan.
Okay, but it's still in it's okay. According to the websites I researched, they're still counting it for 1962. I don't know why.
And if it's
just
on the internet, it must be real. I mean,
Yeah.
really, come
So
on.
this page, I'm getting this particular number from ultimatemovierankings.com.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to check
See you
that,
later, the
that
numbers.
website out.
Okay, so where does it rank? Where does King Kong vs. Godzilla rank of all in the top 100 of 1962 films in the U.S.?
Not counting
You know-
inflation.
Not
Yes.
counting inflation.
Yes.
So-
yes.
So, Nathan, are you ready to make a guess? Chat,
Yes.
ready?
Yeah, and I'm just going to do it because you have to give this. This is the nerd answer that you must give for such things. 42.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
also saw
Bobo,
that in the
42 's
chat,
been
so I'm
taken.
stealing it.
So Nathan predicts 42. Let's see. And I'm going, I'll redeem to talk of 25.
Hey, Bex.
Yeah, it's a little Bex. Or maybe Tim's there watching too. You never know. 27 from Cardinal. For me, I really don't know. I'm gonna guess 40, I guess.
Man, you guys, they wish it was 70 in the U.S. So
Womp,
Oh,
womp, womp, womp. Where's the Womp train for that? Where's the Womp train for that? Anyway,
there it goes.
there you go. I have it. I brought my
Nice.
portable soundboard with me for this occasion.
fantastic. But I mean, all things said, top 70 of 100 movies. I don't know how many movies were released back then.
Over 100.
Okay, then I guess that's decent, I suppose. But thank you for those factoids, Paul.
139
Let's see
according to
if
this website.
any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Yes, let's go, Alice.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
Show me that trailer.
The mightiest monsters of all time, King Kong, Mammoth, Unconquerable versus Godzilla, released from an icy tomb to pulverize a panic-stricken world. King Kong, Godzilla, together on a rampage of destruction, fire-breathing. Colossal Godzilla, impervious to man's most fiery weapons. Nothing you have ever seen, nothing you have ever felt could prepare you for this colossus of entertainment. Spectacular, unbelievable, the world's mightiest monsters in the battle of the century. Mighty King Kong, immune even to 1 billion volts of electricity. Godzilla, immune to man's most fiery weapons.
Godzilla.
Oh, that was amazing. I've never seen that. That's cool.
I love the hyperbole of old movie trailers.
Oh, yeah. Your line is.
I'm waiting for something. I don't know
I'm
what's
trying,
going
guys. Things are moving. I can't tell what's going on.
This is your show, man. This is not mine. I'm
It's
waiting.
all good.
Okay, yes, one task for edit mode. Thank you very much, whoever did that, Bobo or whoever it was. Okay, let's see. Okay,
King
thank you.
Kong's
guys.
bigger in this movie?
I'm-
Bigger
oh,
than what?
and I
No,
want
he's
to-
smaller in this movie.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, should I
that
answer this
commercial-
question or not? But
Yeah, why not? We're in Edna mode. Go
Oh,
for
I guess
it.
so.
okay.
Kong bigger in the movie? Yeah.
Yes, Bex or Tim. I don't know who's running that thing right now.
I imagine it's back.
Yes, King Kong. It's a Toho reimagining of King Kong, and he's larger. In the original film,
we'll
he
get
was,
there.
I think, at most 25 feet. In this one, he's 50 meters. No, he's 45 meters. So he's closer to like 140 feet.
Bex. Hey, Bex.
Oh, it is.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all of that maybe later. Anyway,
Well, wait, sounds boring. Let's move on.
slow and boring. Where's this by slow and boring?
Yeah.
It's not the.
I am an
Swedish chef.
equal opportunity mocker, just so you know.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, here we go, guys. So starting again here. I'm waiting for my daughter, so give
Yeah.
me.
I was
I
about
was
to
going to
say,
say,
can you, Mike, pick up
who's
that
making
background?
who's making the special cameo in the background there?
This is a family-friendly podcast where we invite friends and family to join us in the background of the podcast.
We need Kong.
Where's my cool glasses? Mine
He's doing the
is
background stuff.
the blue light special that
Yeah,
reflects
exactly. Hey, John.
keeps the harmful rays coming from the computer screen.
Is that
Or maybe it's coming from you. I don't know.
okay? Here we go. In 5, End
No,
of
this is
end
like
mode
the
in
third
5.
end mode.
No, this is still the first one. Still the first one. Don't
What about
give
the
me that.
beginning? Really, that's up at the
That
beginning.
doesn't really count as an end.
Oh,
Jimmy says, "Shut up."
Oh my gosh.
All right, moving on.
5, 4, 3. That commercial definitely brings back some memories about King Kong versus Godzilla, if we had any. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered most before our rewatch of this film, here is our memory mind melt synopsis. Godzilla emerges from an iceberg after being rudely awoken by his submarine alarm clock. So Japan kidnaps King Kong to stop Godzilla, but King Kong has a drinking problem and gets drunk on red berry juice while native girls dance and sing. It ends up with pro wrestling pay-per-view on Mount Fuji as King Kong tries to stuff a tree down Godzilla's throat. King Kong grabs Godzilla by the tail and throws him for the win. Then King Kong swims away. That seemed. I don't think it was on Mount Fuji. I think that's the only part that may have been incepted.
No,
or
it's Mount
decepted.
Fuji. I can
And
confirm.
Japan didn't kidnap King Kong to stop Godzilla. They wanted it for their own pharmaceutical promotions.
Pharmaceutical promotion. That's right. So wait, totally decepted. Based on those memories, as very flawed. I mean, ridiculously flawed as they were. Flawed being probably pretty on point. What range did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? And I'll say for myself, I had not watched this before. This is my first time watching it. And I think, did we all watch the Japanese version? Is that accurate?
I did.
Yes.
Okay. And then
I
me
watched
and Paul did
both,
as well.
actually.
Oh, both. Okay, interesting. So let's start with Nathan. What was your prediction for King Kong vs. Godzilla?
Anything less than classic from me, I'm the kaiju guy. So
I mean,
Oh.
maybe. You never know.
Yeah. So classic. I actually
Classic?
predict,
Okay.
yeah.
I want an affirmative. Like, is it actually? Okay,
Yeah.
classic for Nathan.
I was teetering between tragic and nostalgic, and I thought it would be tragic for me personally, but overall nostalgic for the general audience. So I was going for nostalgic.
All right, cool. And for me, I predicted tragic. I'd never seen it. The little bits I had seen of it didn't look interesting to me. So we're running the board. And I've never, well, here's the thing, Paul. I've never been huge in either King Kong or Godzilla.
Get out.
this is why you had me on, because you
Yeah,
knew.
okay. Yeah.
I can bring the giant monster fandom to this podcast.
There we go. So
I'm
we had to
sure
balance things out. Okay. Good.
The
Fair
Dapper
enough.
Man's like, why?
This
can't I
might be
listen
the
to this
most
podcast?
at this
guy, he
point-
doesn't watch.
At this point,
What?
this could be the most contested movie you guys have ever reviewed.
We'll see.
No, there was one just recently that was pretty contested. Was that Homeward Bound?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 2 classics and 2 tragics. What would happen?
Actually,
Anyway, what was that?
I said I haven't listened to that episode yet. Actually,
No worries at all.
Or
What?
are you?
What? Oh my gosh. Anyway, guys, it'll be interesting to see if those predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about King Kong vs. Godzilla. Let's spin up our
Best 3.
best 3 things of this movie. And let's start with Nathan. What's something you liked about King Kong vs. Godzilla?
well, what I'm going to bring up is something that is sadly mostly absent in the American cut of this movie, and that is the satire. A lot of people don't realize, if they've grown up on the dubbed version, which did get rated as well, with put into it and all of that, and that's a whole to do. But
Right.
this is a satire of commercialism, which, as you watched, as you can tell.
Oh, I didn't. But okay, good to know.
Well, but that's why you have things like the actor that we're introduced who plays drums. What's he doing at the beginning of the movie? He's playing drums. I think it's supposed to be a commercial. And the reason,
that's right.
yeah. And then you have things in here like they're talking about, well, the pharmaceutical company is trying to get Kong as basically they bring him down as a publicity stunt, and that goes as well as you expect. And then they start talking about things like how can we increase our ratings on television, because TV was a new thing in 1962. And
Oh, I never heard about that. Yeah.
That is
Yes.
so funny, because the whole
Yeah.
idea of bringing King Kong into this is like a commercial, a gimmick to sell more tickets of this movie.
Yes,
Interesting.
in a lot of
Oh,
ways.
that is
And
interesting,
and
yeah.
there's even one of the things that I love that they cut out of the American version is there's a meta joke in this, because somebody says, "Oh, now we have Godzilla and Kong running around," and somebody says they're going to make a movie about this. I'm like, and then they keep talking about the idea of Godzilla versus King Kong, and they treat the two of them meeting each other and fighting each other like it's a wrestling match. So it's like, I'm just waiting for Godzilla and Kong to cut a promo. Mount Fuji at WrestleMania, Kong. That's sort of a thing. It's it is all over the place. And the thing that, especially the commercial we have at in the beginning, you know what it honestly kind of reminds me of? And that's RoboCop. Because RoboCop was full of satire. Like,
I've heard that. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that.
Oh, you don't like RoboCop? Oh my gosh, guys! Geez, RoboCop's so great. You're mocking
Just watch
about not
RoboCop.
being a Godzilla fan, Paul. I'm just dishing it back out. That's all.
Okay,
good. You know what's interesting though, Nathan? That my first sort of goes off yours a bit. I just really found the advertising exec for, what was it, pharmaceuticals?
Pacific Pharmaceuticals.
Pacific Pharmaceuticals, the guy with the mustache. I thought he just was
Mr. Taco.
Mr. Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Taco.
I
He's so
thought that
over
was
the top. I loved him, and just he's so we gotta get all the best. And it's just so
He
good.
might be one of the best character in the whole movie, to be honest.
Yes.
I actually had
Agreed.
him on my list of potential 3. So I'm glad that you brought him up so we can
nice.
actually talk about him a little
nice.
bit. But what's interesting?
I was about to say real quick, when I saw the American version, they pronounced his name Taco so much like a Mexican taco that
I know.
for some reason I didn't make the connection when I watched the Japanese version, but the American version they call him Taco. I'm like, is that his real name?
I think that is actually how it is to be pronounced. That is the only way I've ever heard it
But
pronounced.
the way, I guess maybe the way the Japanese say it sounds slightly different. I don't know what it is, but anyway,
it
Mr.
probably
Taco,
does,
go
but
ahead.
It probably does, but it's a little hard to hear. But what's interesting is, and I looked up the actor's name. His name is Ichiro Arishima, and he was actually considered to be basically the Japanese Charlie Chaplin at the time.
Oh,
really?
wow.
That's
He
pretty
did a lot of
cool.
Yeah,
speaking.
which you can definitely see in his. He has a very old Hollywood, like 1920s,
Yes.
1930s style of acting.
Mhm.
He's very over the top, big gestures. He's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the original King Kong, but he's basically Carl Denham in this,
I
except
haven't.
except he's a corporate executive and not a film director.
Right. He reminded me of like a Warner Brothers Looney Tune cartoon almost. Like,
Yes, I could see
You
that.
know,
almost
Yeah.
pushing the bomb to set off on the boat. And
Oh, no,
not,
that was
and
an
kind of thing.
accident.
Exactly.
That was an accident. And I love how I love how they're like, don't touch it. He's like, he starts freaking out, and then he accidentally falls on it.
Yeah.
And then it is kind of like Looney Tunes at that point, because you're just sitting there going, where's the kaboom? The earth shattering kaboom. And then so nothing happens, and then they have to shoot the dynamite
Yeah.
to make it explode, which ends up doing
that's
nothing
where-
anyway.
So that's where Jaws got that's where Steven Spielberg got their inspiration. I see.
Yeah.
King Kong vs. Godzilla. Paul, what was inspiring about this movie for you? Was it one of the characters or something else?
And this is a little thing of mine. I don't know why, but I do know why, where they make giant monsters move really slow. And
Stop
I guess
motion?
that's to make them no, just like, oh, I'm going to show its size by having it move slower.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So one of the things
Yes.
that I loved seeing in this is like coming from the original Gojira film that we reviewed. having a full-size Godzilla with his tail whapping around quickly, I thought was amazing. All right, let's get into this. Let's have some real fun with some kaijus here. So that was fine. That was fun to see a lot of, well, I wouldn't say live action, but there's more action to it. These
It's
kaijus moving
livelier.
around.
It's
Yes,
livelier.
yes.
Which
that's
is
it.
this movie was also a bit of a turning point for the franchise. Interestingly, this was the film for both Godzilla and Kong. It was the first time both of them were seen in widescreen, and the first time both of them were seen in color, which is really which is kind of crazy when you stop and think about it. But they were transitioning toward a slightly different style where they were making the monsters livelier. And you know, with how they move, I mean, when you watch the battle at the end, which will, you know, I'll bring up a little bit later, it's very kinetic, it's very energetic, it's a big difference from what you guys saw in Godzilla 54. But this was 8 years later, so they had been progressing, making some other films like, you know, Rodan, the Mysterians, Mothra, and they were moving toward as closer as their standard style for definitely for the 60s and even to the 70s.
Well, that's good to know. I had no idea that was there. Though I will say, Nathan, you totally stepped on our trivial question for later. So thanks a lot.
Oh, darn it.
Good job. You should get a prize.
You Godzilla stomped on it. So that's fine.
Yeah.
It's apropos. I appreciate that. But let's go back to you, Nathan. For
Yes, Jimmy, I know you're disappointed.
What's something else you enjoyed about this film, Nathan?
Well, I'm going to go with another thing that is unfortunately largely absent for the Americanized version, and it's the score. The score by Ufukube.
Yes. Ufukube.
Yeah, because unfortunately, when Universal brought the movie over in 1963 to the United States, they cut most of Ufukube music out of it. I think they only left two tracks in, which was the
part.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, they cut out all of his music except for the opening credits, the opening theme, and the Islander song to Kong. That's all they left in. And then they replaced it with just a bunch of stock music from their previous movies. Yeah, most notably, interestingly enough, Creature from the Black Lagoon, which when I watched Creature from the Black Lagoon, the whole time I was waiting for music I knew from this movie to show up.
Godzilla and King Kong gonna show up,
and that's the movie that inspired the original Godzilla, right?
No,
no.
Oh, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
That's right. They're both in the sea, under the sea, down where it's wetter, down where it's better.
Take it from you.
Yeah.
Actually, that goes.
I'm not
right
a big
into
fan
my
of the Little
second.
Mermaid, so don't get me started.
Oh,
no, that's fine.
Anyway,
we're
I
on
had
the same
written
page
down
then.
the opening theme. I was not expecting that intense music right away, and that theme I thought was great. It reminded me, like, I felt like I was in the Temple of Doom with the chanting going on. Yeah, I thought the music that they did keep was great.
Yeah, that theme, especially when you get to the island when the Islanders start singing it's considered iconic in its own way. A lot of fans are actually hoping that it shows up in Godzilla versus Kong, not King Kong versus Godzilla.
Intense.
Yeah, so we're talking about monkey lizard punchy punchy, not lizard monkey punchy punchy.
Right.
Wow. Where's that come from? Is that a meme or something? I've never heard this. Lizard, monkey, punchy, punchy.
I may have heard it someplace, but I just started saying it as a funny descriptor of the movie just because I think it's funny. I'm going to meme it because I'm going to do an episode of my show on the new movie, and I am going to meme that.
Awesome,
there you go.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Paul, what's something you liked?
The intense music at the opening of this movie.
Sorry. All right. Increase the Endemo counter.
Yeah.
Golly sakes. Okay. Let's see. So you did your number 2. You like the score also. Okay. So there's Endemo. So what? Okay. End of Edna mode. And no increase the timer. Yes. Dang it, Bobo. Spoke too soon. All right, here we go. So yeah, I agree with you guys. The music was great. I'm surprised to hear that they took it out of the United States version because it was so atmospheric and just fits so well.
Yeah.
But something something that has nothing to do with the music really that I liked was that and maybe you can help me understand this because it's a like I don't really understand. I like that King Kong is a lightning type Pokemon. I mean kaiju. But why is he lightning? Why does he absorb lightning or can shoot lightning? What's the story behind
because
that?
in his island there is nothing for him to do except be struck by lightning and drink the berry juice.
Okay.
Do you want to know the
obviously
real
How did I
world
miss
reason
this?
why?
Yes, I do.
Because they had to come up with something which I thought was brilliant. I'm like, how is this monkey gonna? Sorry, this ape because he doesn't have a tail. How is he gonna?
VeggieTales told us this.
Yes, that's true. That's where I remember that from. But I was wondering how is that even like a thing? Like, of course, Godzilla's gonna roast him. How could they even fight? So I like they gave him this electric edge to him.
That's
Totally.
basically what they, because as I said right before we went on, this is not the Kong from the 1933 film. This is a Toho reimagined version. He's much larger. He's almost as tall as Godzilla, whereas the original Kong was maybe 25 feet. He wouldn't Godzilla's ankle, maybe his knee on a good day.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, so he's larger, and they gave him that to help equalize things because Godzilla is basically a walking flamethrower. But it's also, and I won't get into, it's a long, involved, sort of convoluted and kind of tragic story about how this movie got made. But this was based to the TLDR of it is that this was originally supposed to be King Kong versus Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the thing is a holdover because when that script was getting shopped around,
that makes sense.
And it eventually got to Toho. Toho said, "Hey, let's drop Frankenstein and put in Godzilla.
Yeah.
And we'll make it our 30th anniversary movie." So they probably just electricity, give it to the ape. So.
And I was going to bring that up, but thank you for bringing that up because I was going to have people to check out your Monster Island Film Vault podcast where you actually talk about the beginnings of
that. Yes. I believe I could be getting my own episode numbers wrong. I think it's around episode 5. I had John
it's one
LeMay,
of the earlier ones.
I had John LeMay on for that episode, and we talked about a pair of unmade Godzilla, well, not just Godzilla, but unmade King Kong films that are related to this one. One being King Kong versus Frankenstein. The other one, because you would expect this, because this movie was a giant hit, they did try to have a rematch back in the 60s. It got as far as a story treatment, but it never got made, unfortunately. It's called Continuation King Kong versus Godzilla.
It's being made right now. Do you know?
Well, this is actually Godzilla versus Kong, not King Kong. Again, they changed the ape due to legal reasons.
See, here's the thing, guys. Both with this version and the last version, and this isn't in my dislikes or anything, so I'm going to just place it here since it's apropos to what we're talking about. I almost feel like it would have been more interesting of a fight and more of like a David versus Goliath type situation if you had King Kong be his 25 feet. And I don't know, you have a little person actor in an ape suit or something, and he's having to crawl up Godzilla and hit him. And
Godzilla,
what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Hope that he can gouge out his eyes or something?
Yes. He's smart and stuff, so he can.
No, David was a lot taller compared to Goliath than that.
I now have this funny image in my head of Kong with a sling and being and then trying to embed a rock. I mean, come on, dude. He does. Kong throws rocks at Godzilla. Exactly. Doesn't that count?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, and it could give him the lightning power still or something. I don't know. I just think that would have been a cool visual to have a small got a small King Kong versus this large Godzilla, and he still is able to vanquish him. I think that would have been cool. Just saying, just saying.
Kind of
Anyway,
ants, not ants, Bugs Life, where there's like a lot. No, wait, that's more than one. I don't understand how that would work. Maybe if he's so small, he's a virus or something. I don't know how.
Okay, Merlin. All right.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would work.
Anyway, guys, so those are the things we like. Let's get to our classic makers, though. The things we loved most about King Kong vs. Godzilla. And let's start with Paul this time.
I liked. How long is this movie? It was an hour.
It's not even 100 minutes. I think I think you said 91. I think it's more like
91 minutes. Yeah. So basically, the last 10 minutes, maybe the last 5 minutes, when they're actually fighting King Kong and Godzilla, that was by far my favorite part. When they're actually wrestling and flipping each other around, it's like, this is what I came to see. So that was my classic maker, my favorite part.
Very cool. Yeah, I wasn't 9 off at all during that part. Nathan, what was your I was gonna say Fire Rain, but no, what was your classic maker for
Paul beat me to it. Paul beat me to it. It's the final battle, man. I mean, that's what we came to see, and it delivers. This like I said, is a much livelier fight. The fight choreography in this is absolutely just bonkers when you stop think about it. I mean, if you the first sequel to Godzilla, to the original Godzilla, is called Godzilla Raiden, this is nothing by comparison. They tried to make it that first battle in that movie, they tried to make it look more like a pair of animals trying to kill each other. And this one, they're like, no, this is a pro wrestling match, and we're treating it like a pro wrestling match. So you've got Kong judo flip, like shoulder throwing and judo. It is ridiculous. And you will hardcore those suit actors were. Haruo Nakajima, who was in that Godzilla suit when Kong flips him. Normally, I think later on they started, when they would do crazy flips like that, they would use empty suits. Nakajima, for whatever reason, was still in that suit when they did that. It is insane. That is how hardcore they were. Do not, anytime somebody tries to mock suitmation, I get angry because, like, you do not realize how difficult it is to do this, much of an art form it is. I dare you to 100 pounds of padding and rubber and see how long you can walk around on a set. Go ahead.
No, I'm out.
I'll try it and I will dominate. But yeah, that is impressive. That the willingness and the artistry and the persistence, determination, all those awesome words that definitely apply to those suit actors for sure.
Well, and the thing that makes it even better is that we get multiple kinds of special effects here. We get the miniatures, we get the suits. We even get it only happens for one shot for a couple of seconds. We get stop motion. Really cool. And here's the nutty thing, and I'm gonna make sure I bring this up because I really want to dispel this. There is an urban legend that has circulated for nearly 60 years with this movie, and there are still people who believe it.
No, it's not true.
There's only one ending. There's only one ending. There are people thought that the Japanese version and the American version had two different endings, where in the American version, it's Kong who wins, and in the Japanese version, it's Godzilla. It's not. It's the same ending in both of them. The thing that's confusing is, despite the fact that the ending is the same, nobody can agree on who actually wins. Not even Toho. Toho keeps changing their mind. Yeah. For years, they said... that's what I mean.
King Kong wins. I mean,
except some retreating. So,
no, he's going back home because Godzilla never surfaces. The fight's over. He's
Godzilla can hide in water because he's amphibious. So I mean, people just go nuts with it. Toho, I think, for years said King Kong won. Now they're trying to say it's I've given up. All right, I'm sorry. As much as I love Godzilla, I gotta give the W to Kong in this one.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to me too. I mean, I already mentioned I'm on Team Godzilla, but it's obvious to me that King Kong won this one.
Oh, and you can't forget the tree. I mean, I hope that gets referenced in the new movie.
So
speaking of
you
new
mentioned
movies,
a tree.
did you-
What happened with the tree?
hey,
Kong
sleepyhead,
uproots
go
a tree
away.
and tries to stuff it down his throat. It's great.
And
Oh,
yeah,
but I think I saw that, but I was like, that's weird. Obviously, you're not going to get that past the rubber part. Like it looked like it wasn't going down very deep.
well,
To Godzilla's
if
mouth.
he had more time, he would have shoved it down there. You know,
Well,
that's how
he
you
should've
like
wor-
make
maybe
a
if he was-
popsicle stick
You
out
know
of
what?
him.
Maybe if he was a small King Kong and took just like
God,
like
a
good-
popsicle stick.
Listen,
Well,
got one of the,
yeah.
listen to my words. Got one of the bones from the Rancor pit, much like Luke Skywalker, and just put it in it, like prop his jaw open, and then lightning bolt, like again, force powers, lightning bolt right into his mouth, down into his gullet with exploded Godzilla, and you still get the same ending.
Hold it. Are you promoting King Kong to Emperor Kong? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
Sith
Am I?
Emperor because of the lightning.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
He approves of this apparently. So
I would think so, given his sound affinity there. But regardless, guys, that has nothing to do with my classic maker. My classic maker is actually the first fight I think you both were alluding to, with the octopus kaiju, and I just thought it was so
Udaku!
amazing that they use it. I was like, "Whoa, how are they doing this?" Like,
Udaku,
I eventually realized, oh, this must be a real octopus or something, because it's just the movements are too fluid, and
And it
everything.
sounded the way it was. I had headphones on. It sounded like that. Oh, it was
Yes,
gross.
yes, yes.
That was so well done.
that was a real octopus. Now, when they got, I think they used a prop when the Kong suit actor was actually interacting with it, obviously. But you want to know a funny story?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. They used 3 octopuses, octopi, whichever plural you prefer, when they were filming this movie. So it has that Eiji Tsuburaya, who was the special effects director, when they were finished filming for the day with one of them, had one of those
Calamari.
octopuses cooked, and he ate it for dinner. So
Nice.
Well, you don't want to go to
Calamari.
waste.
oh,
Wow.
they can't disclaimer at the end of the movie that says no animals were harmed in the filming of this motion picture, because it was definitely harmed. But how many people can say that they literally ate one of their special effects?
Wow. Not many. Though, did they even have that issue back then? I don't think they did. Back in the 60s.
Probably
Oh,
not.
yeah. No,
Of
no, they
animals being
didn't.
eaten.
Well, I don't think they did, but they could never get away with that now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Or the blackface. But anyway,
Or that.
let's hope they don't.
of the Islanders?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
like,
hope
these
cancel
all look
culture
very-
doesn't get a hold of this.
These Islanders look very Japanese, but okay, whatever. I'll go with it. So I just really appreciated that they used a practical effect like that, even though the blue screen wasn't great. It could tell when it was like villagers filmed on something else versus Godzilla or versus King Kong, or when the octopus had like this, like a toy figure in its tentacles and stuff. But all that aside, for the time, I was impressed with it. So that was my classic maker for King Kong vs. Godzilla. And now we can. Oh, darn it!
Did you forget something?
Every single time, you'd think I'd put in my notes or something to, hey, don't forget, there's one more thing you like, and that would be Helix Reviews. David Arrington is the host of the Helix Reviews podcast. In every episode, he breaks down what he does and doesn't like about the movies, video games, or comics he's reviewing, and also discusses themes, messages, and ideas they portray. You can find Helix Reviews on your favorite podcast catcher or at helixreviews.blogspot.com.
I like the music in the background.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
But what does that have to do with King Kong versus Godzilla?
Well, he's covered the 2014 Godzilla on his podcast. So
Oh, okay,
there you
that's
go.
half of it. And I
And
guess
I
I have to helix the rest of it together.
Did he do Kong Skull Island? There.
Not that I know of. Didn't come up in the search, so I don't think so.
Well,
All right.
It's okay. We can work with weaknesses around here.
Thank you guys. It's at least something better than nothing, like last
Yeah.
week, Paul. So, but I assume you still want some trivia about King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yes.
That was a funny joke because
Okay,
last
well-
week we didn't even have a podcast.
Damn. You know what I mean. But now I will say, our awesome guest Nathan already sort of mentioned this, so this is sort of a repeat. So I guess you all do realize this at this point, but I'm going to say it anyway. Did you all realize that this film marks a number of firsts for King Kong and Godzilla films? What? Blown away. This film was the first time either King Kong and Godzilla were filmed in color, and the first time either of them filmed in widescreen. And this film was also the third film for both King Kong and Godzilla, although this film isn't considered a sequel to the original King Kong or Son of Kong, because like you were saying, Nathan, this is sort of out of canon for King Kong films. It's not the same one, it's a reimagining. But my question to you is, both of you, what is the first kaiju movie you remember seeing?
Okay, I got a technical question. Is the Blob considered a kaiju?
I mean, kaiju's just
I would
giant
say yes.
monster,
Then the
so I
Blob,
guess.
yeah.
Okay.
The black and
Well-
white Blob movie.
Oh, black and
I
white
don't.
Blob.
Maybe I brought this up the last time I was here, but the word kaiju in Japanese translates as strange beast, and it's
Oh, strange beast. That's right.
supposed to be a large strange beast. But kaiju as a catch-all, basically. So
And
I
that
would
Blob
say,
was a beast.
yes. I would argue the Blob counts, and we do have a bit of
All
the
right.
Blob in a bucket here on the island. So
Yeah,
You.
there you go.
How about for you, Nathan?
it's a little bit difficult because I've racked my brain to try to figure out if I saw any kaiju movies technically before I saw my first Godzilla movie, but since I'm not 100% sure, I just tell people my first Godzilla film is the first kaiju film for me, which was Terror of Mechagodzilla, which
Oh.
I caught, I think, the second half of it on cable because I grew up without cable, but grandma had cable and I happened
There
to
you
be
go.
there.
Nice.
And I believe it was BN, which is based out of Chicago. And they were doing a thing
Yeah.
called Oh My Godzilla Weekend. So yes, that joke existed before King of the Monsters 2019. And like I said, I caught the second half of it and sparked a curiosity in me. And I immediately started trying to find as many of those movies as I could.
Very, very
Nice.
cool. That's awesome.
How about you, Francisco? Do you remember?
Well, so there's a dinosaur. I guess dinosaur movies don't really count as kaiju then. 'cause
Jurassic
they're
Depends on the
Park?
movie.
Not Jurassic Park. Paul. No, there's this film where there's these people find like a baby brontosaurus. and
Oh,
they're trying to
baby.
Keep them.
Yeah, it's
from-
called Baby.
Is that an actual movie? Okay,
It's
so
yeah,
I'm
it's
remembering
it's like
this.
it
Okay.
has a long subtitle, but it's like Baby Legend of the something. I can't remember. I may have seen it as a child, but I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Okay, so if you count that, then that. But I would actually say probably more like Empire Strikes Back with a big thing that's coming out of the asteroid to eat the. Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that thing has a name, but I can't remember it offhand.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
probably
yeah,
some-
I mean, the
well, if
Rain
that
Corps
counts,
may as-
then that's probably mine.
Yeah. Now the Rain Corps may as well count too. If that's the case, then it is.
exactly.
It would be the Star Wars movies for me. 'Cause I
There
was
you
seeing
go.
those before I got into Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome for me helping you drill down.
But Francisco, nothing stops the Blob.
Actually,
depends.
correct, Glenn. I'm doing it and not Jimmy. It's not moves the blob.
Oh.
Oh man.
I don't worry.
Wow.
I got
the
it wrong
arcade
for
it
years
said
too,
nothing
and then I
stops
played
the
the game
blob.
again.
Really?
Does he say that in the video game though? Nothing.
Yeah,
stops
that's
the
what I
blob?
mean. That's where
Oh,
I
oh.
heard it. He says
Oh,
nothing
okay, okay.
Yeah.
moves the blob.
I thought it was
Got it.
stops. Maybe the arcade
I thought
version
so.
does,
I
and
thought
and
so for you.
Hmm.
Anyway, regardless, guys, that's my trivia for you all.
Great trivia, Francisco. Do you want me to not pause, or are you gonna edit that out anyway?
Well, now you're asking. I have to edit it out.
Do you want me to redo it, or just? Well, I guess I have to
And
redo
then
it
roll the
anyway.
counter. Yes, you have
All
to redo it
right.
anyway, so go ahead.
Okay, you can cut this part out, but I have to know who's the Batman and who's the Robin in this duo. I'm having a hard time figuring it out.
He's Batman.
No, he's Batman. He's Batman. I'm Alfred. Thank you.
Oh. Wow. I just got upgraded.
I'm Batman.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Hello.
I didn't even know, but apparently I'm Batman. All right. Great trivia, Francisco. And I have our answer to our last audience question, which again was, let us know if you have a favorite Jim Carrey role.
Hold on. End the mode again. Because I didn't check this.
Alfred,
Are we having
come
fun
on.
yet?
I'm sorry, sir.
Can I be Nightwing?
As long as you keep the jokes coming.
Oh, I got a million of them, sir. I don't know if this is getting kept. Depending on if this is getting kept, it will determine what jokes I make.
It's not being kept. But so you've seen
Alrighty.
Redeemed Otaku? Well, that's awesome. And
Speaking
Mandela
of Jim
Effect?
Carrey roles, maybe the Riddler is more apropos.
Maybe. I guess.
Oh my gosh, the Riddler. Jim Carrey's was just Joker light. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's
It's not really the Riddler.
We have one. Here we go.
Okay, great.
End of mode. And we got one response for that question, Paul. What is your favorite Jim Carrey role? This comes from Cardinal Paladin. He says, I would have to say characters he plays in The Mask. Don't say this part. If you read this on air. Okay, I won't say the next part. Cardinal, no worries. But thank you so much for sending in your response of The Mask. Yeah, I remember The Mask. I want us to cover that. I feel like that'd be a fun one, though I don't know if it'd be as good as Liar Liar. I feel like that's almost the top, and we've covered Ace Ventura already. But Cardinal, I forget if you're already a 4D fan or not, but if not, you will get a month free of 4D fandom, or if you want to pass that on to someone else, that'd be fine. And thank you so much for sending that in.
Now, here is this episode's listener question. Are you ready? Can you guess what it is? It is also, what is the first kaiju movie you remember seeing? Send your answers to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com, or Francisco's supposed to say this line, so he can take it away.
Or, yeah, that's fine. But thank you, Paul. Or you can actually, I've started to divide up the show into sort of segments to post on YouTube. So you can also, if you comment on this segment, the trivia segment in our YouTube, when you're watching this for the crazy trivia about King Kong vs. Godzilla, then we will also look at those. So if you want to get a 4D fan club membership to the Retro Rewind podcast, which gives you a lot of on-screen abilities, you can type commands in chat and make silly things happen on screen, then you can get that for a month.
You give your listeners that much power? Hot dang.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we do. Except for podcasts. That's the only time
I was
we
about
don't
to
get
say
it,
that, yeah. Except for right now.
Exactly. But now that you have all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about King Kong vs. Godzilla. First up, Drew Dodgen says, monkey fight lizard, monkey win. Also, I like that Godzilla comes from the iceberg he was frozen in. Godzilla raids again.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Joshua Burnham says, maybe I'll tell you another time.
And another time has come because the Dapper Man says, Kevin Joshua Burnham is crazy. Pay him no mind. He is just jealous his profile picture doesn't have Godzilla with a bow tie. Watch the Japanese version. It makes more sense, and you don't hear annoying foot corn jokes.
Ew. Wardell.
Yeah, that is in the U.S. version.
And Wardell White finishes off with saying, they sure did tear up the town, didn't they? Couldn't take it to a nice clear meadow or something? Nah, they had to tear up the town. At least the big gorilla wasn't waving blondes in the air like he just didn't care. That's all I remember about the flick. Except I remember watching it as an afternoon movie for an old Dallas station, KTVT11. What's up? Now a CBS affiliation. I watched it with a couple of my brothers. Truly all I can remember. Yeah, she wasn't a blonde.
And you know what?
I was going to say, he's half a blonde, but he did grab Mie Hama. I'm just saying.
referring, I think, to past King Kong films. Like he was saying it wasn't like those ones where he was grabbing a blonde. Regardless, maybe, you know what, maybe there's not much reason to watch this film. In fact, let's talk about the things we didn't like about King Kong versus Godzilla. Let's get to our worst three things. I will go ahead and start us off by what is the deal with the dubbing? I mean, why the dubbing on the U.S. submarine Shadow Sniper Stingray? I don't know what it's called.
Seahawk.
That's what I said. Why did they dub in
Okay.
English over the English speaking? It was so
okay.
weird.
Francisco, I'm
Yes.
going to blow your mind.
Nathan? Okay.
That wasn't dubbed.
Yes, it was. Look at the lips.
No.
They do not match.
No, that wasn't dubbed
wasn't.
in the U.S. version, they dub over them because the American
Yes.
acting is terrible.
Yes, that's true. I was about to say that. Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Hold on. They're not dubbed, but they are dubbed. Now I'm very confused.
No.
Okay.
In the Japanese version,
in the
they're not
Japanese
dubbed.
version, it's not.
Japanese
Those
version,
are the
yeah.
actors' actual voices. They may have done some ADR. That might have been the issue, but those are the
Yes,
actual
maybe.
actors' voices in the
Yes.
U.S. version. They not only
Yes.
dubbed over the Japanese actors with English, but they thought the American actors' performances were so bad that they
were.
just re-recorded their lines with new actors.
And it sounded
Wow.
better.
It did sound better. So here's what you need to do. We need
Not
we
much.
Need a super cut. We need a super cut of the just the American portion of the USSS Stingray Annapolis to have in the Japanese version of King Kong. versus
Like I
Godzilla.
said, it's not much better. And you would be asking, why did they dub over the English? Because it's even worse without it.
It's just
Yes.
it's so I don't get it. It's I
And
guess,
they're
okay,
one
yeah,
of
bad
the yeah
ADR,
one of
come on.
yeah one of the I love how one of the the midshipman or whatever, the guy who's got the headphones on and is listening to things, he has this weird pseudo southern drawl, really strange.
Yes. I thought it was great.
In the Japanese, he
I
does not
suppose.
sound like that in the US version.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, also that submarine looked like there's way too much room in the command center. It just seemed like
What is this?
What
A
is this
studio
submarine?
set?
exactly.
Oh, you're just like, yeah. Francisco's all like, that submarine is too spacious. 1 star.
Hey, come
What
on.
is
We gotta
this?
be
A submarine
realistic
for
in this.
kaijus?
I can accept a 150-foot tall fire-breathing lizard dinosaur thing, but that submarine is too spacious. 1 star.
hey, there's real. Okay, the giant lizard and giant ape are made up. There are real submarines, so make them look real. Come on. Anyway,
Have you
that's
been
what
on
I
a
don't like.
submarine?
I've seen pictures. Paul, let's go to you next. What's something you don't like about this film?
This is not much of a like, but it kind of throws me back. The miniatures are obviously miniatures. Now I will say this
Obviously.
with love though. It looks like exactly if I were to film miniatures and make my own film using miniatures, this is what it would look like. Like when they show and you go to Universal Studios, oh, that's the tank where we filmed the water scene, and that big blue sky is the background. I'm like, how do you make that real? Because if I were to do that, it would look like this movie where you can tell it's a fake backdrop. They're in a tanks of water somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't understand how movies have progressed so far since this was made with their miniatures. But
Well,
CG
let me,
too,
and I think I brought,
yeah.
I think I brought this up when I was here for Godzilla 54, but it's less, well, it's partly advancements in special effects technology, but it's also an illustration of the differences in mindsets for Western and Japanese filmmakers. For Westerners, like us, we're used to gauging special effects by how real they look, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Japanese filmmakers, even to this day, aren't striving for realism. They're striving for having striking that look good. They don't care what they have to. They don't care if it looks real, so to speak. They just want it to look striking.
And if it's within their budget.
Yeah. Also, yeah, they.
Sure.
The Japanese
now,
film
by the way,
industry is
these
smaller than Hollywood, so they don't get to play
and
with
these
as much
models
money.
are way better than models I could create.
Oh yeah,
So-
totally.
Well, that's
Paul,
because
point
Eiji Tsuburaya was a craftsman. So
Point of order, Paul. You said this would look like something you would make, but if you can't make models that good,
No,
this would
if
look
I were
better than
to
what you can
film, I meant making, like, if I were to film, like, if you made these and I were to film it.
Okay, I wouldn't. Be able to
okay,
make
it's a
these
good
that
thing you
but-
clarified because I saw Jimmy reaching for a button to interrupt because he has to interrupt the master interrupter.
Go
Yeah,
for
I mean,
it.
You gotta do that. Anyway, let's go to you now, Nathan. What's something? I mean, you love a lot of these Godzilla movies, but was there something you didn't like about this film?
Well, we've already covered one of them actually, so I'm just going to move on to one of my other. Because I had 3 candidates, I'm going to move on to my other one since we already talked about the terrible American acting, and that is, and I will admit this could be potentially controversial because it has been used as fuel for controversy, and that is the
Fukuberry.
tanned the tanned Asian actors.
Oh, the
Who play
Islanders.
the Islanders.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
a Polynesian
horrible.
actor. It's supposed to be a Polynesian island.
Oh.
There's I'm going to say there's few, if none, Polynesian actors, especially in early 1960s Japan. Toho's solution was to basically give their actors spray tans.
Yep.
And there are some people who look at that now and think it's racist. I have even heard a few people go so far and basically call it blackface. And I'm not, I don't care either. It's not one of my worst 3 because I think it's racist. It's one of my worst 3 because I'm sick of the controversy.
Oh, yeah.
Because for me, non-issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I it doesn't bother me, especially since I figured, that during that time and a foreign movie that's not a big of utmost paramount or concern, and it probably wouldn't be budgetarily feasible to do anyway. I mean, today you could just CG them and you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, that would still probably be considered problematic. Really, they did it for practical reasons. It wasn't because they were trying to be racist. They're just like, well, we need these people to look Polynesian. We don't have any Polynesian actors. What do we do? So,
yeah. One.
2.
No, shaking the head. Now it's gesturing with the be quiet gesture. Finger to the lips. Oh, sorry, we're supposed to be quiet.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm just answering someone's question in chat. That's all, guys. You just have to wait. Then I'll cut out the silence. But now we have Edna mode. Whoever's
We would have had to Edna mode it anyway.
No, but if I Edna mode it for proper Edna
you know
mode,
what?
it goes in the outtakes.
Yes, but I was doing you a favor because if you were listening and we were quiet the whole time, you may have not known you're supposed to edit it out because you were like doing something else.
I just hear a blank spot, I'm gonna edit.
You're not
going to
hear a blank spot if you're covering something else. If you're doing something else.
I miss stuff that's not blank when I'm doing something else. So I don't know if that's the linchpin factor.
I don't know. Whatever helps you, I'm trying to help.
Oh my!
Jaguar just made a cameo for your outtake, so
there you go.
Thank you. So just since we are in Edna mode, just to clarify, Nathan. So do you have just your Tragic Maker left, or do you have another dislike?
I do have one more since someone took one of mine already, so I figured I'll just use the other one, and then I have my Tragic Maker.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I have one more.
Perfect. Okay.
I can't words today.
No worries at all.
It's a good thing you're not on a podcast.
Right.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Well, right
So-
to the heart. Right to the
Oh.
heart, you jerk.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Fox Pixar Media, and I don't know. We have Nathan. You might be able to clear this up. He says, "You mean the 1963 one because it is a universal release?" No,
Yeah,
this is the original
no.
Toho release.
Yeah,
in
they were.
August
Yeah,
11th,
it's the Toho.
1962.
Which is
So it's-
also in the
yeah.
1963. I mean, it does have what he's talking about isn't cut out of the 1963 Universal US version.
Yeah, and I saw
okay.
earlier. I saw Bex was asking, "Wait, who won?" And as far as I care, Kong, but some people call it a tie. Just to
I think
answer her
she was-
question.
I think she might have been answering that or asking that legitimately. I think she may have also been trolling me because I'm like, I was falling asleep at the end. Who won? He doesn't know who won.
Okay.
So I think it may have been that as well. I'm not sure.
It could
But,
be.
Okay, so we have one more dislike each before our tragic makers. So, by the way, welcome
Yes.
Fox Pixar. We don't interact with chat so much during podcast nights, except when we're in this thing called Edna mode. But if you are a fan of retro games, I'm going to be playing one of those tomorrow night. Well, I'm doing something a little special tomorrow night, but I've come back Tuesday. We're playing Mega Man 2 right now. So,
I love Mega Man 2.
well, then you'll have to stop by, Nathan, at 7 p.m. Pacific. Which is like 11 for
Have you ever
so
beaten
maybe
Mega
don't
Man
want to.
2 before?
No,
I have
This is
not.
I have played it before, but I've never beaten it.
Okay,
This is my first
I'm
time
gonna
attempting
let you in on a little secret right now because it will save you loads of frustration later.
it. Okay.
Only one weapon works on the final boss.
Okay, but I have to figure out what that is.
I can tell you what it is.
No, don't
I'll
tell him.
I'll figure it out.
Okay,
Don't worry,
but I
I'll-
will
I'll
let
just
you
go through
know
each.
only one weapon works, and it will be a little annoying to get it to work. But once you get it to work, you will feel awesome.
It's actually the
okay.
Mega Blaster for Mega Man 3 is what works on the boss of Mega Man 2.
Thanks for the help, Paul.
It's time travel.
Yes.
Paul with the assist. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back into the podcast. End of Edna mode in 3. Okay, guys, let's go through. Let's do a couple other things. Well, 3 other things we dislike. One a piece, so to speak. And I'll go ahead
Everybody
and
got
start
that?
for me. And this is another thing that's like, what? So, what is the deal with the ending? I don't know if it's the mayor or if he's someone. He seems like someone
He's
in
a
government.
scientist. He's a
The
scientist.
He says we must learn how to treat plants and animals well. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's that have to do with it? Godzilla and King Kong? Because they're saying, what do you think? Who do you think? Do you think Godzilla survived or something? And it was like, and then
I
he
don't
says
know. Ask the captain. He
Okay.
opened up this episode with it.
Okay. It's a little goofy, but I'm going to tell you right now, having seen every Godzilla movie, I have seen much sillier moralizing at the end of one.
Yeah, I was about to say
I
that's a
don't
pretty
care
legit
other-
moral because it depends. It's a lot of the Godzilla films have the same theme about protecting the earth, and it's when we don't and we upset nature's balance that we get problems like this.
Yeah,
So
and
things
just
like
to-
the plants and the animals are part of that.
And just to illustrate my point, the so-called moral of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla is no joke, don't pollute space.
There you go.
well, that's important. But I wish there was something along the way, something to see that this was the moral. It didn't make a lot of sense. It wasn't like if King Kong used plants or something to do with Godzilla, or Godzilla was destroying
That was the
other
edited
plants or
version.
animals. Oh, gosh. So it just or if the reason Godzilla came back was because they were they're destroying, deforesting something. I don't know. Then it would have made a little bit more sense. But
That would have made a
just
little
didn't get
more
it.
sense.
I-
But they're
I
on a
would
time crunch.
Whatever.
I would love to know what subtitles you were seeing because I watched this on the Criterion on my way here, and I don't remember the subtitles being exactly like that.
Okay, I will bring it right up. Give me 1 second.
Oh,
I don't know
here
if
it
you wanna Edna
comes.
mode me, but we're gonna watch this together so that you can see what I perceive.
No, I've seen.
Maybe
I
there's-
remember what you're talking about, but it was a different edition with different subtitles.
It's different interpretation.
So just give me a second, guys. I'll get this.
I think I saw the same one.
Yeah, I think we watched the same one, right, Paul? The
I don't-
link
I
sent
didn't-
you?
No, I got a imported Blu-ray of
Oh,
this.
you did. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Well,
So maybe
aren't
this is a
you
different version.
hot stuff right,
Right,
now?
look at this
Ooh,
guy.
you with your
Yeah.
imported
Goodness.
Blu-ray.
It's an import. Yeah.
Yes,
stepped away
see,
from it.
I am a true fan. I have the import. Yes, straight from the mother country. Yes.
This is
Yeah.
from South America. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know why the Japanese people suddenly sound like they are Swedish or something. I don't know. It's like, none of this is getting kept, so I can keep making the funny voice. Yes,
Yeah, I guess you can. Yes. Thanks a lot. Okay, come on. Go. It's spinning.
Just so
don't
you
you love
know,
that?
whenever I record a podcast, whether it's my own or someone else's, I definitely make sure to get myself extra caffeinated. It helps me get into character.
Well, you are doing quite
Very good.
Yes, I am doing very good.
Okay, we're almost.
So you want to
Yeah.
hear
It's
something
going
funny?
through now.
You want to hear something
Yeah.
funny? I was watching someone's live stream with Dallas a few days ago, and they got to talking about how people thought Jesus was going to be Arnold and Stallone and every other action hero rolled in together. And
we
I
talked
said,
about that. I think.
and I thought it would be funny if you could get Arnold Schwarzenegger, call him Antichrist, and have him read the Gospels, or at least the Sermon on the Mount. Fun. I recorded myself in this voice reading the Beatitudes, and it was very fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, where can I hear
Yes,
that?
all the piece. I don't know. I sent it to Dallas. I think Dallas is going to use it someplace. He may surprise us all with using it. But
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is.
blessed all the peacemakers, for they shall. That was the sort of stuff that you were hearing in that recording.
That's
Jesus
nice.
is definitely better than Crom. Crom and I still do not get along very well.
Okay,
All
is
right, here we go.
Godzilla dead?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it.
All right.
So let me just set this up for the people that are listening because they won't be able to see this. Okay, so this is the part I'm talking about. It's in Japanese, but I will pause and read what they're saying in the subtitles that I am.
You
seeing.
did archive.org for this, didn't you?
I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay.
Is Godzilla dead? Well, do you think it survived? It's possible. Well, I guess that we, as humans, must change how we treat plants and animals. It's time to learn from them. That's all I have to say. What the junk does that even mean?
Yes, I've seen those subtitles before. The Criterion disc is different.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So what's the
I
Criterion
honestly
say?
don't remember, but there wasn't anything about treating plants and animals bad. So I'm not
Okay.
sure.
All
I don't
right.
remember. I just remember quite like that.
Now
Okay,
I'm
then.
curious if my version is the same. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Interesting. Okay, well, if the intro made no sense to you, that's why, because that's the version I saw, and it flummoxed me so much. I'm like, let's make this the intro. That sounds good. Anyway,
I'm just happy that you use the flummox.
I try. Anyway,
Hey, Geek
let's go
Devotions.
back
Hey, we were
to-
just talking about you
we were.
Yes.
Let's
in
go
the
back
edit
to-
mode.
I think
Increase
Paul
the counter
is.
again.
I think Paul is just determined to make Francisco's life horrible with editing.
That's what Batman does. Just makes all the work for Alfred. Poor Alfred.
Yeah.
Has to cook, clean, heal, put things on CDs. It's ridiculous. No,
Sounds
and
good to me. That's what butlers are for.
oh my gosh, Paul. Okay.
Where are we?
So what does the Universal Cut have? I don't know, Fox. But hey, Geek Devotions.
I haven't
okay.
got to my second dislike.
know, I
no,
know,
just
Paul.
all right.
Oh, you're letting me know. Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you and Nathan both have a second dislike.
Okay.
That was okay. All right. So now that we're done with my zaniness of like weird subtitles, let's go to Paul next. What's something you didn't like about something else you didn't like about King Kong vs. Godzilla?
Okay. And this is kind of a little annoying while watching. Sometimes Godzilla looks really cool, and then sometimes he looks like he's gained a little weight. Like he's as a chubster. He has the thing is, I understand you have different suits depending on what's going on, but sorry, hold on a second. I started playing the movie and it's going on in the background. It's distracting me. Anyway, I understand you have different suits for different scenes, but can we make them a little more consistent? Like, you don't have like, oh, this is Godzilla when he's on a diet and this one is when he's not. And then the same thing goes with the King Kong. Like, I understand the claymation in it, like, oh, you want to show expressive eyes. By the time you put into creating the eyes like expressive and claymating it and then doing it frame by frame, the time and money spent, that just make the suit that the guy's wearing to, like, be able to close eyes and everything. Like, let's be consistent.
They did.
Right.
Well, then why am I watching claymation and not a monster suit?
It was probably a puppet for the head when they did the close-ups.
Well, let's do
Yeah,
it all
it
the
did
same
look more
one.
like a puppet. Yes, I
That's
agree.
fine, but let's use it all in the same thing. Like, let's make it consistent. At least look consistent.
Would you stop tiptoeing around my tragic maker, please?
Sure.
Paul?
Okay. I'll stop.
Nathan, what's something you didn't like about this film?
Well, it's actually something that I don't know, considering that you got where you guys watched it. It may not be an issue for you, depending on their source. The one that I had was there is inconsistent film quality. I'm talking about the film stock, because there are times where it will look nicer than other. Yeah, there are sometimes it will look nicer than other ones. Unfortunately, King Kong versus Godzilla, despite being the massive hit that it was notorious for many years for its poor preservation. There was a point in the 70s, early 70s, where Toho was taking a lot of their older fees and then editing them down for what was called the Champion Film Festival, which was for children. So they cut the movies down a little bit more, and Honda did this for King Kong versus Godzilla. I think he chopped it down to about like 74 minutes, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The problem was that, and that was from the original 35 millimeter. So that was preserved pretty well, but the parts that he had taken out were not preserved, and they had to later on be split in with 16 millimeter films, which is why when you're looking at it, it won't, there are points where you can see when the edits happen, when they're splicing it back in, because the film quality down. Here's the annoying, and that was, since the version that was available, that was released on home media Japan, specifically on Laserdisc. Here's the annoying thing. The movie got completely remastered in 2016, but Toho has not Japan. And what is on the Criterion, the big Criterion collection, which is one of the several big reasons why the set got middling reviews from a lot of people in the Kaiju fandom, is they gave them the Laserdisc version and kept the best looking one to themselves.
So I'm sure that's the one Paul has, though, the import. Like Bex Dutaku here in chat says, and Paul got the Steelbook Director's Cut extended release special edition, signed, sealed, and delivered by Honda himself.
And it's signed by Taco.
Wow. That's impressive.
No.
I mean, did you have to perform Romancy to do that? Because it was zombie Honda. That's impressive.
No, it was $8.99 on eBay. No, I don't remember.
Wow.
I did get it online, but I don't remember how much. But anyway,
just being silly with your import. Anyway, well, guys, let's get into the things we hated most about King Kong vs. Godzilla, and let's start with Nathan, because I'm very curious. Loving on so many kaiju movies, Godzilla movies, what do you hate most about this in particular one?
Well, you guys have kind of hinted at it already. That freaking Kong suit.
Well, okay, Paul. Is that yours?
No, it's not mine.
Okay,
that is my tragic maker. That is my tragic maker. That Kong suit, the Godzilla suit looks great. That Kong suit looks terrible.
Yeah,
no, I'm sorry. Compared to the Kong suit, the Godzilla looks great. That
Oh,
Kong
even the
suit
chubster
looks
version,
yeah, that Kong suit looks like a really dirty shag carpet that they just slapped a monkey face on. I mean, it looks awful, and it looks even worse when it's wet.
Yeah.
It looks truly horrible when it's wet.
You know what?
I don't know what it is.
When the octopus was like on top of him and it would made his face all wet and stuff, and then I was like, oh, that's disgusting. And then it changed and all of a sudden he's dry, and I was about to like argue against that, like continuity, but like, oh wait, it looks better dry. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. Eiji Tsuburaya was a special effects genius, but he suit to save his life. I don't know what, because he tried several times, including another King Kong movie called King Kong Escapes, and it still looks. He made a whole new suit, and it's only marginally better. I mean, it's just I don't know what it is. I really don't. And to this day, Kong fans hate this suit. They really do.
Why?
Which is the one thing
so
I am not the biggest fan of the 1976 remake of King Kong, but I will say this: they did a man in a suit for Kong in that, and it looks great. It really does.
Exactly.
And they actually
that was
used,
like 10 years later, right?
Well, yeah, it was like 15 years later. And they did actually, Rick Baker was the guy in the suit for that. And one of the cool things about that is they actually set the mask up so that it was his actual eyes and not prosthetic eyes.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So it is a marked improvement over this.
Yeah.
So it's a creepy monkey suit.
And you
Oh,
mentioned
sorry, ape suit.
The shag carpet.
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
caught yourself before Jimmy did.
Overall, I think that could have been saved. The overall body could have been saved. If the face didn't look like something that just got whacked with the ugly stick so many times, it just looks. It didn't look apish. It looked like clay. Like Clayface was having an off day and decided to sprout some hair. That's what it looked like. It was just.
Oh man,
so
I
ugly.
wish I could do a screen share so that I could show you guys. I'm technically breaking character now. I just realized, but I wish you guys could look up. I wish you guys could look up the suit from King Kong Escapes because it's only a little bit better.
Oh, we can do that. We can look that up.
Francisco can. He has the magic to do that.
While I'm doing that, let's see. Paul, why don't you talk to us about what? So it wasn't the King Kong suit. What was your tragic maker for this?
The thing that took me out of the movie the most, and this is something that we already talked about, was the acting. It was so exaggerated by the Japanese actors versus so underplayed by the American actors. It was hard to find a tone, but even with the Japanese acting, it was so over the top and cartoony. I know they try to ground it in like real life, like drama, what's going on, but the acting just was so cartoony. It would not have surprised me if they inflated both King Kong and Godzilla with helium to move them instead of the balloons. I mean, that's just how over the top it seemed. But
well, that was the point. I told you it's a satire.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, that's the suit in King Kong.
So not much different.
Oh, it's different, but it's just only marginally better.
It's bulkier. Yeah. Yeah. It's
and the face is better, but it's also more cartoony.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, it looks more claymated.
It looks like it. I don't know what to say. It just looks strange. It looks like it looks like a mask. It doesn't look real at all.
You know what it looks like? It looks like it's part of the Uncanny Valley, but in a claymation format rather than digital.
Wow.
Yes, Jimmy, I know you're fond of that one because of Mechanicong. You rebuilt the sucker. Yes, we know.
But
I will say tonally for the acting, watching the dubbed version of the American version, that's way over the top, and it's actually consistent throughout the film. So in that part, it's kind of fun to. I actually like to have that on the background sometimes. The American dubbed version, just because it's so over the top. But overall, the movie is better Japanese wise. They take it a little more seriously.
I will say though, Paul, that none except for Taco, none of the characters were memorable for me. I mean, could care less about
What
any
about
of them.
the animal and trees guy? I mean, he was like the serious one. Like,
No, I don't. I barely remember him.
Well,
So,
in defense of this movie, Taco is so over the top that he kind of overshadows everybody else.
What about the
Yeah.
island translator? Do you remember him?
Oh yeah, kind of.
Okay, yeah, he was.
Fun, I
That
suppose.
guy reminds me of Don Knotts. He's like a Japanese Don Knotts. Seriously.
Oh, you know which character stood out to me a lot?
King
That
Kong.
kid that wouldn't say hey to his mom, that was calling him over and over again. No, he's just gonna go get the magic liquid to put the guy to sleep. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
see my
the little
mom
island
when
boy.
when I'm in trouble. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you have a bingo
so the
card
lesson-
out,
there's a
yes,
lesson-
that's disobedient child right there.
I was going to say, there's a lesson for the kids watching the movie: obey your mother, or the octopus will eat you.
Yeah,
exactly.
and smoking is okay with your mom.
Oh my god.
Actually, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Again, part of, especially since they use the radio and they freak out over the radio. They're like, "What is the magic box?"
Right, exactly. Anyway, guys, well, now that we've all entered our targeting information into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
That was way too hard.
All right, guys.
Oh, Jimmy says he helped her put this calculation together. So,
Well, thank you,
Nice.
Jimmy. Yeah, so let's find out whether we rate King Kong vs. Godzilla a classic. Would recommend anyone go see this film, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, if you've seen it as a kid or growing up in your youth, it's definitely worth your time to revisit it. But if you've never seen it before, probably just pass. Maybe go see the new Kong vs. Godzilla or Godzilla vs. Kong, wherever it is. Or is this film a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time today. Whether or
Did
not
you
you've
say
seen it before-
whatever it is? There's different films. You got to be specific.
What?
We are covering King Kong versus Godzilla,
Yeah.
not
What did I say?
Kong versus whatever it is,
I
because
know
those are different
You
movies.
could go see that instead. If
All right.
if it's nostalgic and you haven't seen this one, go watch one of those.
Sorry, I
instead.
wasn't listening. Continue.
Or do you rate it a tragic? We'd recommend no one watch this. If you have fond memories of it, don't sully those memories with a rewatch. So let's start with our guest. Nathan, what's your final rating for King Kong versus Godzilla, 1962, Japanese, 1963, United States? But just the Japanese version, since that's what we're doing.
yes, it's still a classic for me. It's a very important film in the filmographies of both monsters. The funny thing is, Kong was actually the more popular one. Godzilla was the new hotness at that point, and because he shared screen with King Kong, propelled Godzilla to pop culture stardom and icon. And
okay, I didn't realize
yeah,
this helped with that.
Yeah, and it kind of introduced a new version of Kong into the Japanese market, and there's a couple of movies that came out of this. There's a whole to-do because Toho basically bought the Kong license for 5 years, and during those 5 years, they can make as many movies as they want. Unfortunately, they made a whopping 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So because of that, and because it kickstarted not only the I guess you could say careers of these monsters, but it also really solidified the kaiju genre as a viable genre of film and as something that was commercially viable. And it basically ushered in the golden age of kaiju films, and it was kind of the golden age for Toho because at this point, because they were just cranking stuff out along these lines for several years after this. So it's because of its importance and its influence basically on everything, especially Godzilla and Tokusatsu.
How about the film by itself?
As a film
Just
by
to
itself,
watch
I still think it works. It's very much a snapshot of Japan at the time. I mentioned before it was a satire of commercialism. This was the early 60s. Japan was had just what has been called the Japanese economic miracle. Their post-war economy was just booming at this point. They spent the latter half of the 40s and most of the 50s recovering, and then it just exploded in the late 50s and into the 60s, and their economy grew exponentially for the next basically almost 30 years. And
thanks to this film.
Partly. It's definitely, I mean, because it sold as many tickets as it is, it's definitely indicative of it. But this was satirizing all of the stuff that came with this newfound prosperity. Kind of like, yeah, this is wonderful, but there are some drawbacks to it. So it's a social commentary on current events at the time. And I still think its satire is relevant today and really doesn't just have to be applied to Japan. The sort of stuff that we're seeing in this movie, we see all the time now, just in a slightly different form.
Yeah, I see it so much, I didn't even realize it was satire because it's the norm.
Well, that's kind of how satire works. It's so close to being, it's satire, so close to being just to being real that it becomes funny because of it.
Oh,
and also, Paul, what is your final rating for King Kong versus Godzilla?
So I teetered between tragic and nostalgic, and I was surprised because it had been a while since I'd seen this. I said I had it on the background every so often, but it had actually been at least 10 years since I've done that. So I was surprised how well I liked it. So not as much as the Kaiju academic Martian just alluded to. But I wish it is nostalgic. I just wish I could say it's on the higher end of nostalgic, rather than on the lower end.
I will say I can agree with you in one aspect, and that is that I would probably, because I grew up on the US version, I would probably rate the US version nostalgic.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so we have a classic and nostalgic. Man, guys, I am so torn.
What do you mean? Maybe you should rewatch it this time and actually watch it instead of fall asleep.
Go buy the Criterion Collection and see the proper subtitles.
There you go. That might help. Here's the thing. If there's so many things that could have made this movie like exponentially better. The first of which, Kong looking anything more like an actual ape would have just. I mean, this would honestly. I feel like this would be classic for sure if he looked better.
Well, just imagine it, and there you go.
Wow. Okay. Let me just imagine that the first half of Jurassic Park is, rip roaring fun.
There you go. Or that 2001 is actually Star Wars, but either way.
Oh wow, Luke, I can't. The monolith. I'm so sad for you. A lot of me wants to rate this nostalgic because I feel like I would want to give it another chance and watch it again and see what it's like. But it's like, do I really want to put myself through watching that ugly King Kong again?
Yeah.
I don't.
He's hardly on the screen. Both of them.
And also, what's up with the clicky sound when he goes click, click, click? Godzilla. Every time it's like click, click, click. It's like, what
when he's punching him?
No, when Godzilla goes like this.
Is that his nails coming
together? Yeah, it's like
when he's kind of clapping his hands together.
It's like, just make it big sound or no sound. I'm so done with click, click, click. It's the Kaiju. Should be like,
wow.
Crash.
Things really have to be particular in your life to enjoy it, huh?
I'm definitely getting that impression. Yes.
Yeah. No clicky noises and no funny looking monkeys or apes.
He's basically a nitpicky gatekeeper. I see how this works. Yeah.
All right. I just want things.
Otherwise, it's tragic.
I want things to be the best versions that they can. and this didn't get there. So I'm gonna have
This
to
is
say tragic.
60s.
I'm sorry.
This is the 60s,
Oh my
buddy.
gosh.
Tragic, guys. I'm
Really?
sorry.
Oh
Well,
my
let's leave it.
God.
Let's
It's-
go to the
It's
listeners.
on
and
the
see what they
higher
say.
end of tragic there, Paul. You like that?
What does that mean? Does that
Oh,
mean
wait,
it's even
wait,
like
wait, wait,
worse?
Wait.
No,
Hold
no.
on. How does
Closer
this
to
final
nostalgic.
score we're gonna win? Because you got one classic, one nostalgic, and one tragic. Does this
I
make
I
it
think
break
I think we'll
even
have
so
to
it's
just-
nostalgic?
I think we'll have to just be like, you know what, Captain gets final say on this. I think, and
No,
we'll
we
just
go to our
No,
patrons.
we go to our patrons. People that donate at the or support us at the $5 or higher level get are part of the Rewind Republic. So they'll get to we'll combine their votes, and whatever vote they pick will sort of sway the vote to whether it's a classic, nostalgic, or tragic. So we'll find out what they voted now and what our final rating is right now with Francisco from the future. Whoa.
Oh wow.
My goodness. I can't. Seriously? Really, guys? Patrons? Really?
I mean, did you
All
guys even watch the movie to give it a fair chance? But okay, let's go with
All
it.
right. I guess we'll have to go with it.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, patrons. And yeah, that was quite the experience. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX. And you're welcome for the experience, by the way,
Receiving incoming transmission.
because this was my pick.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1962 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, the Film and Film Podcast, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, the Untold Podcast, Mrs. Lomax, James Kennison, I ran out of air, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dustin, Kennethan, Redeemed Utaku, Ryan Lingle, That's Our Babo, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, and Jeff, in addition to five other awesome patrons as well. I was totally doing the cops.
I was trying to input that in there.
Roll call. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us end the mode, right?
That's worse than
Untie
the
that
clickety
knot in your
sound.
tongue.
Oh goodness gracious. Okay.
Thank you all so much for keeping a. Go ahead.
Wow. 3, 2. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help keep us flying for as low as $1 a month or $5 if you want to vote on movies like this where we're tied, then get bonus content for your generosity. Head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to help us grow via Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal.
Also,
this stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
and while we're thanking our supporters, we want to give a big kaiju hug to Nathan for supporting us with his thoughts about King Kong versus Godzilla, the Japanese version, and NASA Jimmy from NASA. Thank you so much for. Yes, of course. That goes without saying almost, but I'm glad you said it. I wouldn't. But thank you, Nathan.
It's been a pleasure. Is it so it's not a bear hug, it's like gorilla grip? Is that what is it for the hug?
No, it's
Is
a
that-
clicky nail hug, apparently.
Yeah, it really charges my back up. Anyway, Nathan, where can people find you online? Is there anything else you'd like to promote to let the people know about?
Well, one thing I definitely should let everybody know about is not only am I a podcaster, I am also a writer, and I have a new book out. It's called Torsom and the God Who Devours. So, we've had a little bit of fun talking about Schwarzenegger. So this is a very Conan the Barbarian sort of a story. But I'm going to say this now. Zorzum is a barbarian cooler than Conan. There, I said it. But
There's
more
more
than
than
one?
right there.
I co-wrote this with my friends Nick Hayden and Aaron Brosman. It's a fantastic story. It's really fun. Sword and sorcery. It's only about maybe 100 pages or so you can breeze through it.
Okay.
Pretty nice. So I highly recommend checking it out. You get it in both digital and paperback on Amazon. So
Nice.
that's really cool. And I'm hoping to actually have another book out later this year. It'll be a devotional book that I'm working on with several people, including at least one person who's in the chat right now. So
nice.
yes.
So, what was the name of the book again?
The second one?
No, the one that's released out.
The first
now.
one, Zorzum, God Who Devours.
How do you spell Zorzum?
Zorsam.
See, I would have been Zorzum. So okay, thank you for spelling.
Yeah, Zorzum. Yeah, see, if I have to enunciate like a Brit for you.
Oh my gosh! Well, thank
But
you
no,
again
so that's
so much, Nate.
so that's one thing I want to promote. And then
Okay,
obviously, since I'm talking about myself as a writer, you can check out my author website, which is nathanjsmarchand.com. Yes, I had to use my two nathanmarchand.com was already taking that guy, and I'm gonna feed him to that giant octopus. So
Good.
And take the guy who stole paulpowers.com as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, well, we're gonna find him together. Both of those guys together, man. We're gonna.
Yeah, I actually found my guy. He's a little too tough to take on.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and
I'm sure.
RetroRewind.com is too expensive. So yeah.
Oh, apparently. But anyway, so there's that. And then if you want to follow me as an author on Twitter or on Facebook, my professional Facebook page is Worlds of Nathan. My author Twitter is at Nathan Marchand 7. As for the podcast website is monsterislandfilmvault.com. We're also on Twitter, which is at the Monster Isla 1, and then there are several associate accounts that I should probably including yours, Jimmy. Yes. Yeah. Follow Jimmy, my intrepid producer, at NASA Jimmy. And then there's also my Orwellian overlords, the Monster Island Board of Directors. Their handle is Monster Isla because I guess they love their bod. And there's also Raymond Martin, who is basically the board's lawyer. You can follow him at MIFE_legal team. And then there is, yes, this is a thing that exists. I have a pseudo sister clone, magical girl in the style of anime, Beck Outer. They're best friends practically. And she now has a Twitter. Yeah. She now has a Twitter. Her handle is at Crystal Lady Jess 1. And I think I got everything. Also, the podcast is on Facebook and on Instagram. That's all the important stuff.
That's all your legal obligations. Good job.
Yes, I have my contractual obligations, so now I won't get shot into space.
Well, that's always a good thing. Thank you so much, Nathan, for being on this show. And a hearty thanks also to those of you listening for the first time. And of course, all of you who are part of the Rad our Rad Rewinder community. You all who watch us live every week, whether we are recording this podcast or I'm playing a retro game, are an amazing group of people helping sustain the pod. Team Womps aside. But if you're looking for ways to get involved in growing this Retro Rewind endeavor, reach out to us on social media, where we are at Retro Rewind Pod pretty much everywhere. You could buy some of our merch, including hashtag Team Womp shirts. You could leave us a review on Podchaser or Apple Podcasts, become a monthly patron, or simply just share your favorite episodes of the podcast with a friend so that more people can enjoy the content of the Retro Rewind Pod.
You have been listening to RetroRewindPodcast.com/222, our review of King Kong vs. Godzilla, with me as your XO, PaulJPowers.com. You can find me online and all my socials at PaulJPowers.com.
Whoa, who would have guessed? Thank you for being an amazing friend, amazing kaiju. I mean, not kaiju. Your normal size, not strange beast.
Strange in my own way.
I guess that's true. But
unless you watch Pacific Rim the Black, where those kind of blend together. I'm just saying.
Oh, interesting. But it's been awesome having another fun voyage with you, Paul. I have been I have been and continue to be captain of the pod. Let me do that again. I'm losing steam. Sorry, hold on.
You had Steam?
Yes, Edna mode. Edna mode. Exclamation point. Edna mode.
Edna mode.
Wow. Thank you for being an amazing friend, Paul. It's been an awesome, fun voyage to Kaiju Island, Kaiju verse here. I have been and continue to be captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FX. Oh my gosh, what's going on?
You can find him on Twitter at FXRetro_, especially if you need to find pixel artwork commissioned.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I for some reason I couldn't get it out. That's why you have an awesome friend like Paul to help you when you can't walk yourself. He carries you, and when he can't walk, I say, "Hey, why don't you get a wheelchair?"
Yeah.
Is that why we've been commissioned? Go ahead.
This is why I have Jimmy as my sidekick.
Yeah.
Oh, get over it. You're my sidekick.
And life is better with friends. And we've been commissioned by friends to announce we are part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com. Captain, we are on Final Approach to Base, which I've never even been to, but apparently that has been granted to us. Why? Let's go out and explore more.
All right, I guess we could. Thank you so much, XO. Thank you all for listening. We pray you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we got to catch you all for The Parent Trap, another 60s movie, our next episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
You know what would be cool in this new version? They actually make a different Japanese ending and a United States ending. That way it furthers
I hope so.
Actually, I had this crazy idea that what they should do is film two endings. One where Godzilla wins, one where Kong wins, and then send different endings to different theaters just to screw with people.
Yeah, just like Clue.
So everyone, half
exactly.
the audience who sees it will go on social media and be like, I can't believe Godzilla won, and then the other half like, wait, you're crazy, Godzilla won, or something like that.
Yeah, you can clearly see who swam away.
Just to watch them all fight. That would be great. It's kind of like Clue. If you ever watched the movie Clue, there's three endings, and they sent different prints with different endings to different theaters.
Exactly. Though I still think it'd be better if King Kong was, his normal size and would just crawled and punched like Godzilla and did all that stuff. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe now that I think about it, maybe King Kong gets shrunk to like man size. Maybe he becomes an archaeologist even. That'd be kind of cool. Huh.
No, it wouldn't.
Do you know any other
that would sound
Paul?
as lame as young Indiana Jones.
Then it is something that man was not meant to disturb. Trust me.
Are you making this up as you go along? Yeah?
You don't believe me. You will, Dr. Jones.
Where should I come this? Full throttle? No break.
Those people are trying to kill us.
I know that!
It's a new experience for me. Happens to me all the time.
Welcome to another installment. What?
Do it
Jimmy?
again. Sorry.
What do you need? No, that's fine.
Sorry, a joke. I'll save it for after you're done introducing. Sorry. Edna mode.
Okay, that's. Yes! Exclamation point Edna mode in chat if you want to up the Edna mode counter. Anyway, oh no, it's just Edna! Exclamation point Edna. My bad. Regardless. What was I trying to say? Oh,
well, you were introducing the segment.
Yeah, I know, right? Welcome back to another installment of our watch throughs and reviews of Young Indiana Jones chapter by chapter as we make our way through the three count them, 3 of the Indiana Jones movies, because there's only 3 of them.
Not 4,
3,
not 5.
not 4, 3. Anyway.
1, 5.
We are on our way. There are 3 lights. We're on our way to The Last Crusade coming up at the end of this year. But right now, what chapter and what chapter of the Indiana Jones Chronicles are we at, Paul?
This time we are watching, we are reviewing chapter 13 called Adventures in the Secret Service. This was actually a combination of 2 different chapters which earlier aired, combining the first episode of season 2, which was titled Austria March 1917, which came out September 21 in 1992. And the 13th episode in season 2, later on called Petrograd July 1917, which was released March 27th in 1993. So,
very good, Paul.
Do you want to give us the plot synopsis
I'll
of
give
both
you the plot
those
synopsis
episodes using
Yeah.
1 sentence each?
I'm going to do 1 sentence for both.
Oh, wow.
Indy can't catch a break as a spy. He fails at every turn, apparently.
What are we
I
going to
think he
do
does a
with
pretty good
you?
job. Right?
Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
Essentially, the first
Which is
half-
sad because Indy's dad is James Bond. I'm just saying.
Right. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. The first half, he's in Austria trying to help, trying to get the Austrian king to be a part of the Allies. I don't think they're the Allies in World War
He
I,
was
but-
signing a treaty so that they were no longer going to be allies with the Germans, I believe,
Yeah,
because
something
in
like
order
that.
to end the war.
Yeah.
Because
and then in the
what
second
you-
part,
Because you know what you need in an Indiana's adventure? Lots of politics. Apparently, this was George Lucas's warm up to the prequels.
Yes.
Calm down, Jimmy. I know Phantom Menace triggers you. Okay.
Wow.
You said it.
But that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
That's very good.
And then the second half, Indy's in Russia during the revolution, or what's going to become the revolution. Bolshevik revolution as the Lenin's trying to gain power. And he fails there too, apparently. So let's talk about
You can't stop history. Come on, George. What are you, Tarantino?
Let's talk about first off, what's the best part of these episodes? Let's start with Nathan. What's the thing you liked most about these?
Okay. Just to let everybody know, I absolutely love Indiana Jones. And
Okay.
have
have you ever seen these before?
I have seen some of them. I've seen this one.
Okay.
So first for me when I saw it. But like I said, I have recollections. I was actually there was a point when my local library actually had the entire DVD collection of these, and I was trying to go through all of them, but I never finished it, unfortunately. I don't remember what prevented me from doing that, but regardless, going into this, I will say first off, it was cool seeing Indiana Jones having not archaeology related adventures.
Oh, okay. Some people like that.
Some of them are like that. These weren't. I will also say the first half was definitely more exciting. Where it's actually, involves going behind enemy lines and sneaking around. And there's some political stuff in the middle there, but then we got to sneak back across the border. And then there's actually this climax. It's basically a border crossing. It's kind of hilarious where he's like, all I have to do is cross the line, man. All I have to do is cross the line. And he's running across the train and he's getting shot at. So there's exciting things happening.
Yeah.
You get none of that in the second one.
That's true.
It's a lot of talking, a lot of drama, a lot of this woman hitting on Indiana Jones. And all I kept thinking was, lady, you're not marrying. Don't even bother.
Which I thought she looked a little bit like her, and I thought they were going to try to
type.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But,
Marion
she's
is not a commie. All right.
Well,
she No, but
Was
her
she, though? I don't think
no,
she
she's
was.
out. I
The
was
other
about to
one
say
was.
she's out in the Eastern world compared to us living in the Western world. I forget
Yeah.
where though. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, she's in Tibet. Are we talking about Marion? Isn't Marion in Nepal or Tibet?
Somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know.
That was
Outside
just
the
at that
US.
point. That was only at that point. We don't know what she was
Yeah.
doing before that.
That's true. She could be in
Fair.
anywhere.
Anywhere, regardless. But you liked the sort of the excitement and that he wasn't doing archaeology in these episodes. Or at
Yeah,
least
well,
the
the excitement
first
in the first half.
Yeah. I do kind of like that he was, even though the second half wasn't exciting, I do like that he was doing sort of cryptography, which I was like, Indy doesn't do this. Oh, wait, he does that in Last Crusade. He's like
Yeah.
figuring out all these clues and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Although
but
I
Jehovah
have to-
begins with an I.
To admit, I was a little bit confused when this, because I'm like, was there something that carried over from the previous one? Because I don't understand the context of why is he in France? What is he
Yeah.
doing here? I had to piece it together because I'm like, I feel like I missed something. But looking into it a little bit, I can't tell if there was anything that would have given me any sort of context.
Not really.
I was about to say yes, but not satisfying.
Yeah. Not like to where it's like, oh, now I get why he's doing all these things. No.
And then it was also confusing because all of these French guys and the Austrians that he was trying to escort never call Indy or Mr. Jones or anything like that. That's using a different name, and I'm like, what is going on? I am confused here.
And then they called another guy Henry, like Henry, and it was and another guy spoke up. And I'm like,
yeah. What is going on? Now, I will say another reason I liked the first half more is because it had Christopher Lee in it, which I was not expecting.
I wasn't that I saw his name in the credits. I'm like, really? Christopher Lee? Wow.
Yeah, and that brought a cinematic caliber to this.
Absolutely.
To this. And that's the thing that's really interesting. From what I understand, the show, this Young Indiana Jones show, was pretty popular, but it ended up getting canceled relatively quickly because it was really expensive to produce because they're filming on location.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. But there, you can definitely tell they threw that money onto the screen with this. This is the most cinematic looking 90s television show I think I've ever seen. Now we take it for granted now because TV is basically made like movies. But nowadays, but back then you didn't see stuff like this. This felt like a movie. I will say that it felt like a movie. It really did. And including Christopher Lee, I think brought some of that, like cinematic gravitas.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what made this show look even more cinematic was watching it at 2x speed. But we'll maybe talk about
Oh no.
I was wondering if you were still doing that.
You cheater. You went back.
I know. Okay, Paul, what's something you liked about Young Indiana Jones?
I really in this episode, this chapter, I really enjoyed the mystery, like, okay, who can you trust and who can't you, and even on both episodes, it was like, oh, and what are they, the sneaking around trying to figure out puzzle solving aspect. I also liked that there was a swing at the end of the second one. There was a swing and they introed the Young Indiana Jones music. It wasn't the John Williams Indiana Jones music that we love, but at least they incorporated the theme of the Young Indiana Jones into it, which was nice.
Yes, that was. I for me, the thing I liked most about it was, it's weird, but I kind of like that it ended on this very dour note with
his friends getting shot.
Yeah, I'm like,
now, and here's something
that's more like history, I guess.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because I looked up the timetable on this. This movie, well, that half of the movie takes place in July 1917. The Bolshevik Revolution was in November that year. So
okay.
it's kind
So
of
this was
funny
early.
if you know your history when they're saying like, oh, this isn't going to happen. This probably won't happen now. And I'm like,
it was the beginning of the
Yeah,
revolution.
it was the beginning
because
of
it didn't quite take it. So that makes sense that it happened a few
Yeah.
months before then. So that's
yeah.
cool.
But here's the thing that I will admit, the ending of that second episode, I actually did think was pretty effective because
Really?
the question that came to my mind was because this episode, that's probably more apt to call it an episode, wants you to be sympathetic toward these people. But the question I was asking myself is, are we to feel, let me make sure you can cut this part out, but are we to sympathize with them because they're revolutionaries or because they were fools and tried to start their revolution too soon?
Or his friends. So maybe it's a mixture of all of them.
I feel like his friends. But
Yeah, because see, that's the thing that I was once I realized, okay, we're gonna be going to Russia, 1917. We're gonna actually have Lenin in this, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is going to be really interesting to see what their attitude is about this, because I don't think it's not pro-communist for sure. You get the impression that Lenin is making a bunch of promises. Yeah, you get the impression Lenin is making a bunch of promises that we, knowing history, know are not going to come about.
Right.
So there's that level of tragedy here, and Indy doesn't seem to be very happy about it because he's a good American.
But what I thought they did was a great job of showing to us on the Western side, how can someone, Vladimir Lenin lead a nation of people in this direction? Why would they follow him? But I thought they did a great job of showing how charismatic and persuasive he could be using those ideals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and you could totally see how everyone in the audience and stuff was captured by what he was saying, and it's one of those things that I almost wish there was more time to like go into the philosophies of it, because on its face, communism has so much of it seems right. It sounds right. It seems like yeah, if everyone could just
in a utopian society, yes,
exactly. But it totally forgets to look at the heart of man and how we are what's the verse? Our hearts are deceived.
The heart is deceptively wicked or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Isaiah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or is that Isaiah?
Oh,
wait. Now I'm thinking it's either Isaiah or Jeremiah. Now I can't remember.
Okay,
it's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
I'm gonna look it up.
But which is interesting that you bring that up, because there's a conversation. I actually really like this scene, as unexciting as that episode was by comparison. The scene where the revolutionary girl and this other guy are talking, and she's talking about all of these communist ideals that she's been hearing from Lenin, and this guy's arguing. He's like, you can't, people like H.G. Wells and all these authors, all that, they're advocating for creating paradise on earth. He said, you can't do that. That's the domain of God.
Exactly.
That it exists only in heaven and stuff like that. So
I'm glad that they had that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was a throwaway line, but yes.
Well, yeah, kind of. But it offers a counterpoint to what she's talking about. And I think that's another one of those reasons why I don't think this episode necessarily comes out as pro-communist.
Yeah.
And because there are characters who don't like it, and like Indy. I mean, come on. What a buzzkill is it to be taken on a date on your birthday to a communist rally? I mean, he was clearly not having a good time. But
yeah.
So it was really interesting. It was trying to make more of this, because something like this, especially when you're an American, you can easily just distill it down to that it's robbed of any substance. This is the rise of the Soviet Union, and as Americans, we're not supposed to like it. But as we're seeing in this, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, and I feel like it's good to sympathize with people. Like when you just see communism as like a group of people, it's very easy to be tribalistic and be like, well, ours way is better than your ways. But if you can if you can drill it down to an actual person, you can become much more sympathetic, and it becomes much more tragic in that regard too, I think.
Hitler,
also,
Nazis.
What? Also, Jeremiah 17:9, it was the verse you got right. Nathan, yeah, the heart is deceitful
Good
above all
job.
things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? And that is the NIV version. Wow. Anyway, so I think we all went through the things we liked about this.
Yeah.
What didn't we like about this episode, this chapter of Young Indiana Jones? And Nathan, I'll start with you again.
I've kind of already mentioned it. The second half of this is not very exciting.
But you just said that one moment was great.
Well, yeah, there's great moments in it. It's just not very exciting. I mean, the first one is an actual the first one's an actual adventure, and then this one is I'm trying to be a spy and I'm checking things out, but I'm not really
as slow and boring as the second part is compared to the first one. I actually had more problems with the first one than the second one.
Really? Oh,
and
interesting.
the fact, like, hey, everybody, okay, you two, remember, we have to pretend like we don't know each other, and then what do? They just huddle around talking to each other, like,
okay. Here's something I want to bring up, because I wrote this down in my notes because I thought, I think I know how this is going to happen. So then it kind of makes this one scene just like that. Why did this happen? But that scene when they're riding in the train and they're crossing into Austria and they get stopped at the border, and and Indy Sam's like, hey, make sure you play it cool and all of that.
Yeah. And what do? They line up right next behind each other.
Yeah. Well, and then one of those brothers gets arrested, basically. Yeah. And then his other brother is like, we have to save him. And he's like, nope, we can't. We just got to go.
Right.
We just got to go. And then he's trying to tell us like, hey,
get on the train.
Get on the train. And he's all like, we're just going to have to accept the fact that we don't know what's going to happen to your brother and all that. And then he just walks back in and he's like, hey, they thought I was someone else. I really seriously thought that was foreshadowing that this guy stabbed them in the back and it was going to come back later. I really thought, because like, if they're acting like these guys are going to take him away, there's no way that they wouldn't be taking him away unless they were really suspicious. Indy even made it sound like, it's like, what the difference is between what was it, like the Austrians and other people's, like they just shoot you, and stuff like that. And then so it was like all this buildup, and then nothing's like, okay,
he's in cahoots with it. It's like who can you trust and who you can't trust. And that train took off and all of a sudden he's on it. Like, how did he quickly get out of that? Like, get on his papers, But I thought the same thing. I thought, he's in cahoots with the bad guys. You can't trust him. Now, can you trust the brother? And then there's this other woman. She's like, I knew that was a fake out. Like, that's gotta be. But I didn't. I thought their person contact was going to be another woman, not that woman. But that was funny.
That made me laugh a little bit. Schultz. I thought of Hogan's Heroes, and actually my college dorm. I stayed in a dorm called Schultz Hall. So
there you go. Also, I didn't like there were so many gunshots. Mostly in the first episode that he doesn't get hit. Yeah,
Stormtrooper camp. These people.
I was gonna say this is a George Lucas property,
which I will say I did like. There were a couple lines. They've been doing this in past couple chapters. Well, they'll throw in. I have a bad feeling about this.
What an incredible new smell you discovered.
Yes, that was another Star Wars line that they incorporated in this one.
Okay, but can someone tell me? The villain that we kept seeing, he never talks.
The old guy.
Can someone tell me what was going on with him? I just wrote down in my notes, who the heck is evil Winston Churchill?
No. This is so here's his backstory, guys. He got tired of making skates for Emilio Estevez.
Yep,
that's Hans. Get out of here. And I
Mighty
go
Ducks.
over to Austria and run a criminal organization. But before that, he actually ran a criminal organization, Lethal Weapon 2. But
so what you're saying is this poor actor has been typecast as a villain for his entire career.
Well, not Mighty Ducks, but and was he a villain in Hunt for Red October? I thought he was.
No, he wasn't that. He was the ambassador for France. Or for Russia to the United States.
Yeah, but he was the main villain in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So maybe in the future, in the end, he was the main.
He is diplomat.
Yeah,
he is diplomat for Mother Russia. Yes,
exactly.
But anyway, that's what's going on with him.
Yes. anyway, so we're dislikes, I think.
Oh yeah. So speaking of getting shot, I thought at the end of the very last, his friend gets shot, but they don't shoot him going to try to rescue his friend. I mean, like, come on,
Hey,
why did they stop
bullets
shooting
miss
at the
him.
crowd?
That is you know why? Two things.
They have to keep the show
Main
going.
character immunity and drama. That's
Okay. Part of his contract.
Or if you prefer plot armor. You can have main character immunity or plot armor.
You know what? This makes me appreciate the time that the young boy Indy got so sick he almost died. I mean, that was
That's
close.
a good point.
Yeah.
That was close. That was close. So he has had brushes with death for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I like plot armor. That's pretty good. Well, and for me, the thing that I guess I just really didn't like was I felt like Christopher Lee was underutilized. We were mentioning.
Oh, that was, but it
so
was
cool.
nice.
Well,
the way he was in there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
here's the thing. This was before Christopher Lee became a huge star again. At this point, because Lord of the Rings catapulted him. That was a huge shot in the arm for him in terms of his acting career. And the guy was what, like in his 60s already at that point? He had been acting since at least the 70s, and he was he was known to people who are fans of horror movies. Like he played Dracula, bunch of movies back in the at least the 70s. I could be wrong. I haven't seen a whole lot of them. But so he was known, but Lord of the Rings catapulted him. So this is pre-Lord of the Rings and Christopher Lee.
Dooku.
Which is hilarious because they said he played his character as a count.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
It made me laugh.
Wow. If you want to, what's funny is you mentioned since we're on the topic of Christopher Lee, he was, and I think I made mention. I forget if this was in edit mode or not, so my apologies if it was. But I watch riff tracks every so often when I'm just like want something on for a little bit. And he's actually in this old black and white movie that comes up on riff tracks every so often. They have like a random rotation, and I'm trying to find the name of it. But he plays like the head of this coven of witches. I mean, spoilers. He's the head of it, but you don't know that right off the bat.
Just look at him. You can tell.
Right?
How do you think he got the role of Saruman?
So it's called The City of the Dead in 1960, and he's a professor in that. So he's in 1960. I don't know how old he was, but at least in his 30s, if not 40s. So he's by the 2000s, he's I'm sure really high up there, 80s maybe. But anyway.
Oh yeah, someone in the chat just pointed out that he was also the man with the golden gun. So
is that a James Bond?
That's a James Bond film. So yes.
Okay.
It was a Roger Moore James Bond film.
Okay. Anyway, so all that to say, that's a good point, Nathan, that his star was waning maybe at this point. He was sort of like in a doldrum of his career. But still, I guess I felt like he was
I thought it was a small role. He elevated greatly.
He did. All right, that's fine. Fine, guys.
Sorry, your dislike was Christopher Lee. I'm sorry I don't like him, but
oh, Ray Will, thank you. Christopher Lee's first film credit was 1948. Wow.
Yeah, it took him long enough.
Crazy. Oh my
to get
god.
to Lord of the Ring.
Wow. Well, it's a long walk to Mordor, Paul.
Yes.
I don't know why.
That's why
Coral,
he teamed up with Saruman. He was Saruman.
Sakes.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Way. Okay. So those are the things we disliked about this chapter of Young Indiana Jones. So given this episode, would you be interested in seeing the next one, or would you be like, no, I'm not going to watch anymore? Nathan, what's your vote?
I am actually really curious. I kind of want to go back and revisit the ones that I remember seeing when I was younger. And like I said, Indiana Jones is basically my favorite action hero, so I want to see more of it. And I would like to. The completionist in me is kind of kicking in. It's so much so that I actually did look up the DVDs for this thing because all of them have been released on DVD.
Right.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Paul, how about you? Would you want to continue watching if you weren't commissioned to do that, or would you?
Wait,
be like,
you're paying me?
Contractually obligated?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
based on this episode alone, I thought the spy stuff was interesting enough, intriguing enough. I would want to see where it goes from here. So I would be interested. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm very interested to see. I'd be interested if he like stays in Russia and what happens there. I also wish that we had seen that Russian girl when he was a young kid come back and like them like rekindle something. I think that would have been a nice like touch point to like, oh, hey, you've been watching this kind of
Yeah,
show
that would have
for so
been a
long?
great
Let's reward
two-parter
you.
from back in the, back when they originally aired it.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
all these missed opportunities we're having with this, but regardless, okay. So we all sound like we'd be interested to keep watching. So this was a pretty good one on the whole.
Yeah. Or I'm getting numb to it. I'm getting used to it.
I don't know. I'm a frog. I don't know. I'm in this boiling
The
pot of
Stockholm syndrome is setting in right now.
Yeah, it's not too bad in here now. I'm a frog in water.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for listening to this one, and we'll be back in another month for chapter 14 of Young Indiana Jones. Until next time, whippa! All right, there we go. End of the episode. Okay, so now, do either of you need a break before we do probably what's going to end up being a quick spiritual speculation?
If you have time.
Oh yeah, do you have time, Nathan?
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
I'm a trooper. Trust me.
You are a trooper. Thank you so much for staying up late yet again for this podcast. Really, really appreciate it.
There are worse things. I am planning on driving about an hour or so tomorrow morning to go visit some friends so we can marathon through the Snyder Cut. So I will be getting myself caffeinated anyway. So
I'm doing that tomorrow afternoon with the parental units. So nice.
Nice. Very cool. Let's see. So you guys don't have to leave. To answer your question, Cardinal, that's Christy, who you hear in the background. She's like right there. Let's see. Then
She's
I guess
a screen door.
I guess we'll start. Welcome, Reflexopass. Yeah, that's what they're called. Welcome, Reflexopassers. Don't start.
Laughing is good. It's good for the medicine. It's good for the soul.
That is very true, and I appreciate
that is a biblical application, actually.
Helping make me laugh. Very, very. Thank you. Welcome, Reflex Capacitors, and anyone else who maybe listens to this down the road. This is Spiritual Speculation, where we. Oh, I forgot. I need to end the stream for this. So, all you here, Ray Will, Cardinal.
Wow, you almost got through it. Sorry,
got
people in the streams.
Fox,
you got to go. Bye-bye.
Don't cross the streams.
Yes, don't cross the streams. We're going to go to Spiritual Speculation now. If you like... Oh, really? Oh, that's weird. I wonder why it reset to one task. I guess end mode had been called in like over an hour or over 2 hours. Anyway, we're going to... Which isn't right. Regardless, don't focus on that, Francisco.
Are we having fun yet?
We're gonna go. If you'd like to hear what we talk about, spiritually speaking, about King Kong versus Godzilla, consider becoming a patron at retrorewindpodcast.com/support for as low as $1 per month. Until next time, I'm gonna go ahead and pray us out, and then we'll catch you tomorrow night. Lord God, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to get to create a podcast, contribute to the overall cultural conversation about old movies that so many people remember loving, or maybe not so much, but it's a fun game to talk about them again. Thank you for this community of rewinders that we all get to hang out with and be together with. And I pray you protect us, provide for us, and may those of us who trust in you pursue you more and more each day. Pray these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys.
Bye, rewinders.
It does reset.
That was that guy.
Until next time, here is your stream face.
Why do you look constipated?